Chapter 10:36. Su Yan's fury was unleashed, and it could be said to be earth-shattering. Even the sky changed color, and terrifying energy overflowed in all directions, stirring up the heavenly wind. It swept over with a whoosh, and the void was about to collapse. Qiuji's face was filled with shock and anger. What was Su Yan doing? He sat cross-legged without moving, and his body trembled as he released the divine power of the great Tao. The overflowing divine light outlined a figure, which represented Su Yan's spiritual will. This was blatantly ignoring him. Su Yan's tyrannical way of handling things had infuriated Qiuji to the extreme. His entire body rippled with an extremely powerful energy storm. He was a peak heavenly god powerhouse, and his battle prowess reigned supreme in his generation. There was no way he would fear Su Yan. Waves of divine power were released one after another. Qiuji's combat strength also skyrocketed throughout the banquet. Moreover, he had recovered to the extreme. The light of heaven's ceiling surged, illuminating a corner of the dark universe with a brilliant light. What a shocking energy fluctuation! That's the direction where Qiuji is searching for Su Yan. Let's go quickly. Qiuji might have encountered Su Yan. Bastard, didn't we tell Qiuji to inform us immediately if he found Su Yan? Why did he make the first move? This is outrageous. We'll settle this with Qiuji when we get back. The energy fluctuation in the distant world had been captured by the Ingjia of the Fengtian region, and their expressions changed. Before they came, Qiuming had told them that Su Yan's combat strength was extraordinary, and he had obtained the primal chaos source Qi. Su Yan's combat strength was naturally tyrannical, and he had told them not to be careless. Once they found him, they would join forces to suppress him, and use a domineering method to bring Su Yan out. In the end, they did not expect Qiuji to make the first move. They were the top 10 geniuses of the Fengtian region. If any one of them died in an accident, it would be one disaster after another for the Fengtian region, which had just suffered a catastrophe. Boom! A loud explosion resounded, shaking the vast, dark mountains and earth, and many large cracks appeared on the ground. Qiuji, who was on the opposite side, was not willing to be outdone. He waved his fist and activated his heavenly god realm strength, smashing it fiercely. Kill! Qiuji roared, releasing a vast energy storm that filled the sky. Qiuji had the conviction to crush Su Yan in one move. However, when his fist collided with Su Yan's energy body, his entire fist trembled. It was as if he had hammered into a condensed sea eye of the great Tao. Moreover, the great Tao sea I had revived. The great Tao was endless, its divine charm overflowing into the heavens, weightier than millions and millions. In that instant of brilliance, Qiuji felt as if he had been struck by a heaven-shaking attack from a cultivator with great divine abilities. He let out a low roar as his fist cracked, and he was sent flying backwards. The divine force unleashed by Su Yan had caused his blood and qi to churn, and he was on the verge of spitting out a mouthful of blood. How is this possible? Qiuji's eyes were filled with disbelief. He really felt that Su Yan was an old monster. How could his mastery of Tao and Dharma be so brutal in this domain? This didn't make any sense at all. This was Su Yan's harvest from Sky Bamboo Mountain. However, just as Qiuji was in a daze, the figure that had crossed the sky once again came crashing down. It was filled with Su Yan's violent emotions. His figure turned into a dazzling cauldron that contained the power of 10,000 Daos. It fell from the sky and ruthlessly pressed down on Qiuji. I don't believe that I can't suppress you. Qiuji's angry roar sounded. If Su Yan had not consumed a large amount of his life source to extend Bamboo Moon's life, Qiuji would not have acted rashly. However, he did not believe that Su Yan, who had suffered a great loss of vitality, could still fight. Heaven's ceiling palm. Qiuji roared at the cauldron that was falling from the sky. His blood-stained palm shone, and flames surged between his fingers. This was a profound meaning that could seal the heavens and the earth. It appeared from his palm. Once this heaven-sealing palm was activated, it could control all things in the universe and automatically enter a sealed state. It also contained a divine force that could destroy all life. Bang! This palm was infinitely magnified. It seemed to be able to contain a part of the universe's starry sea, and it directly contained the cauldron formed from Su Yan's divine force. Qiuji had absolute confidence that he could suppress Su Yan with the heaven-sealing domain's ultimate technique and force his true body to come out and fight him. But in the next moment, he fell into despair. The heaven-sealing palm had just grabbed the cauldron when it changed. It became extremely violent and sharp, and it flowed with a divine light that could split apart the starry sea of the universe. It was enough to split open all seals and pierce through all obstacles. Chi! The cauldron turned into a large halberd that shone as bright as snow. It directly slashed down and cut open the massive heaven-sealing palm. Ah! Xiao Ming screamed. His entire arm had been cut open. His heart was filled with fear. What was this? Su Yan's body vibrated with a strand of Tao art. It actually split open the heaven-sealing palm and severely injured him. Ah! In the next moment, he screamed. His entire body was trembling because the large halberd had once again turned into a large cauldron that came crashing down. It crushed Qiuji until he knelt on the ground, his body trembling. Bastard, Su Yan, you humiliated me. Qiuji's eyes were red. He let out a heart-wrenching roar. He was one of the 10 heroes sealing heavens. Although his battle strength was not the strongest, he was still enough to represent his family's face. Before, he had made Su Yan kneel to take the medicine. But now, Su Yan's tyrannical attack made him kneel here, especially the treasured cauldron that was pressing down on his body. It really wanted to crush Qiuji into meat paste. In the secluded valley, Su Yan's heart was filled with grief. His face was filled with the vicissitudes of life. His messy hair hung down, covering his face. He sat there, constantly releasing pure divine force to slow down the deterioration of Bamboo Moon's injuries. Qiuji's words caused Su Yan to tilt his head slightly. This was a pair of cold eyes that stared at Xiaoming. Xiaoming couldn't help but shiver. All the hairs on his body stood on end. This kind of gaze was truly unbearable. His body and mind felt like they were being torn apart. Heaven-sealing elixir, here, Qiuji was terrified. He didn't dare to go against Su Yan's will. Just like this, an exquisite jade bottle flew out and fell into the secluded valley. Su Yan reached out and caught it. He opened the jade bottle. The bottle immediately lit up. The mouth of the bottle spewed out rays of light that contained a sealing field. He opened his eye of the universe and looked at the drops of blue liquid in the jade bottle. Each drop of liquid was very special. It contained a kind of heaven, sealing, profound. Moreover, there was an extremely pure life energy that filled the air. Such pure energy was truly rare. It was untainted by even a speck of dust. It was definitely born from the world. Su Yan confirmed that it was genuine. He waved the jade bottle fiercely. The moment the blue liquid was pulled out, it sprinkled on Bamboo Moon's somewhat cold body. He waited expectantly, hoping that this miraculous medicine could help Bamboo Moon. The drops of blue liquid were like spring bamboo after the rain. It bathed Bamboo Moon's body in a layer of pure life energy. Under the observation of Su Yan's eye of the universe, he discovered that Bamboo Moon's almost broken flesh was faintly healing. This made Su Yan ecstatic. He saw a ray of hope in despair. This heaven-sealing elixir was truly a miraculous medicine that could save lives. It would be of great help to Bamboo Moon. It was just that Su Yan didn't know how effective it would be. He could only quietly wait for Bamboo Moon to slowly absorb the heaven-sealing elixir. But what Su Yan didn't know was that of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes, 9 Ingjia had already received sound transmissions from their communication talismans and were rapidly rushing towards their destination. A great crisis was beginning to approach Su Yan. Found him. In the outside world, an elder of the heaven-sealing region excitedly said, "My heaven-sealing region's heaven-sealing 10 heroes all brought their family communication talismans in. Someone crushed their communication talisman, indicating that they found Su Yan's tracks. Good. Cho Boyan's dragon face was overjoyed. His injuries seemed to have improved somewhat, but blood was still constantly flowing from his chest. The wounds on his body told Chiu Boyan that once he caught Su Yan, he would make him suffer endless torment and pain. They found him so quickly. This place was in an uproar. The heaven-sealing 10 heroes had only been in for 4 hours, yet they had already found Su Yan's tracks. This meant that Su Yan hadn't run far. If the heaven-sealing 10 heroes really joined forces, who could resist them? The ancestral hall Zhu Tian was itching to make a move. He wanted to kill Su Yan no matter what. At the same time, Su Yan was extremely important to the ancestral hall. He couldn't watch him fall into the hands of the heaven-sealing region. Don't worry, I've already notified them. Our clan's almighty will soon receive the news and rush over. An elder of the ancestral hall coldly said, no matter how weak Su Yan is, he won't be captured by them in a short time. When the heaven-sealing 10 heroes return with Su Yan, our clan's almighty should also be here. A severely injured almighty shouldn't dream of stopping our clan's almighty. Hearing this, Zhu Tian's heart was heavy. Who exactly was Su Yan? What was his origin? Why did the ancestral hall value him so much? Since their clan's almighty had come, it meant that they were willing to risk the danger of starting a war with the heaven-sealing region to capture Su Yan and bring him away. The heaven-sealing 10 heroes have already found Su Yan. We'll know the results soon. This area was abuzz with discussions, especially in the incomplete universe that was sealed. Murderous auras surged and rippled, covering the sky and the sun. One after another, terrifying figures with imposing auras moved towards their destination. They were about to converge. In the direction of the source, in the valley, when Bamboo Moon absorbed all the heaven-sealing liquid, Bamboo Moon's injuries improved to a certain extent. There was even a kind of sealing energy that faintly restrained the worsening of Bamboo Moon's injuries. It's not enough. Su Yan's eyes were like torches. It was still not enough. If there were several times more heaven-sealing liquid, Bamboo Moon's life could be preserved for a period of time. This way, Su Yan could find a way to help Bamboo Moon stand up again. When his cold eyes fell on Qiuji, he trembled in fear. I don't have it anymore. I really don't have it anymore. Su Yan's eyes were a little cold. This gaze frightened Qiuji. He immediately swore that he really didn't have it anymore. Then why should I keep you? Su Yan clenched his fist, his voice full of killing intent. Su Yan, you can't kill me. Qiuji's scalp was numb. He looked terrified and said in a flustered tone, I don't have the heaven-sealing liquid, but my clansmen have it. They are also here, not too far from me. They should have received the news by now. Just as Qiuji's words fell, a bone-piercing killing intent swept over, making this gloomy world seem a little cold. It was as if they had entered a country of ice and snow. It was bone-piercing cold. In the distant area, powerful figures rushed over one after another. Their destination was the valley. Very good. Su Yan's expression was cold. If there was enough heaven-sealing liquid, Bamboo Moon's injuries could definitely be cured. Chapter 1037. You? Kneeling on the ground, Qiuji trembled in fear. He was frightened by Su Yan's words. Su Yan acted as if nothing had happened. Was he looking down on the 9 peak heavenly gods? Such confidence made Qiuji panic. Could it be that the sealed heaven 10 heroes of the sealed heaven region couldn't stop Su Xianren? It was rumored that he had many tricks up his sleeves, and his battle prowess was peerless. He had never been defeated by anyone in the same realm. However, the sealed heaven 10 heroes were not to be trifled with. Once the 10 heroes joined forces, even an ordinary divine king would be defeated. The sealed heaven 10 heroes were not just individuals. They were a complete group that represented the supreme orthodoxy of the sealed heaven region. However, Qiuji did not dare to refute or say anything. He was worried that Su Yan would kill him in a fit of madness. Qiuji. In the distant world, 9 figures rushed over. Before they even arrived, their cold, killing intent had already filled the entire territory. Every inch of space began to tremble uncontrollably, and the world began to churn with shocking waves. When one of them saw Qiu Ji kneeling on the ground, his expression changed. He shouted angrily, "Qiu Ji, you piece of trash! Stand up! You're a disgrace to our tribe!" "Bastard, Qiu Ji, what are you doing?" The nine Jie were furious. At the same time, they were glad that there were no outsiders here. If this matter were to spread, the sealed heaven region's reputation would be greatly damaged. The young Jie was now kneeling in front of Su Yan. What a scandal! Damn it, it's the same even if you come. You can't defeat Su Yan alone. Qiu Ji's eyes were red. His heart was filled with hatred, but he did not dare to say it out loud. He could only roar in his heart. Today they had lost enough face. If they reported this matter to their families, the experts of their families would not let them off easily. Whoosh whoosh. One figure after another flew through the sky, their might suppressing the heavens. These were the 9 great world-shocking heavenly deities, their bodies overflowing with chaotic light, accompanied by a type of flame of alarm and fury erupting. They were extremely furious at Qiu Ji's miserable state. At the same time, they looked down at Su Yan. Now that the heaven-sealing 10 heroes were all here, how difficult would it be to suppress Su Yan? "Su Yan, stand up." Someone pointed a finger at Su Yan and snorted coldly. "You evil creature, you've caused our sealing heaven realm to suffer heavy losses. Consider yourself lucky to be able to kill you today." The auras of the 9 great experts could devour rivers and mountains. Looking at Su Xianren, who had caused great damage to the sealed heaven region's foundation, their eyes widened in anger. That's right, even if they killed him 10,000 times, it wouldn't be enough to vent their anger. The leader of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes was wearing a golden battlesuit. He was bathed in a dazzling golden light with his hands behind his back. He had a natural noble temperament as he looked down at Su Yan. It was as if a king had been resurrected. Without a doubt, this was the strongest of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes. His name was Qiu Jiashi, and he was also a descendant of a supreme being. His bloodline was noble, and his combat strength was powerful. He was close to the realm of the divine king. Qiu Jiashi stared at Su Yan with a pair of cold eyes. Anger surged in his heart as he said in a ferocious voice, "What are you guarding a dead man for? Stand up and accept your death." However, the words dead man directly touched Su Yan's nerves. He slowly stood up, his pair of cold eyes staring at Qiu Jiashi. His heart emitted a cold, murderous intent, distorting the space. "What's wrong? Are you angry?" Qiu Jiashi was amused. He looked down at Su Yan with his hands behind his back and said in a cold tone, "You're really obedient. If I tell you to stand up, you stand up. I don't like the look in your eyes. You want to kill me? Ha ha. Su Yan, you're already at the end of your rope, and you're still guarding a dead man." Before he could finish his words, Su Yan rose from the ground. Vaguely, the entire secluded valley seemed to vanish into thin air under Su Yan's fury. "You actually have the guts to attack me." Qiu Jiashi's pupils widened. His aura was quite calm as he shouted to the people around him, "Help me hold the line. Don't let him escape. I want to exchange a few blows with Su Yan. Let's see how strong he really is." Qiu Jiashi was full of confidence. He was the strongest of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes and the descendant of a supreme being. His status in the family was extremely high. If it weren't for Qiu Ming's high achievements, Qiu Jiashi would also be qualified to become one of the representatives of the heaven-sealing region. He really didn't believe that Su Yan was so tyrannical that he needed the heaven-sealing 10 heroes to work together to suppress him. However, he really didn't finish his words. He didn't even wait for Qiu Ji to open his mouth to tell him not to act recklessly. The sky had already darkened, and a terrifying aura was revealed. It was as if a peerless mad god had been resurrected. Its might suppressed the world, and the heavy fluctuations of the aura caused the world to collapse. Boom! Su Yan strode out, step by step, out of the valley. His strong body leaked the light of the Great Path. It was like a burning furnace of the Great Path, releasing a terrifying charm of the great path that made people tremble uncontrollably. There was a chill in the hearts of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes, and there was a look of horror in their eyes. They really felt that this was the awakening of an old monster. What kind of great path energy was this? The path was so powerful that it affected their mentality. Su Yan's aura also suppressed this vast sky and crushed the field that sealed the sky and the land. Dong! Su Yan roared. His fist light was unparalleled, and it was unparalleled. It emitted a strong, bloody aura and bombarded Qiu Jiashi. Qiu Jiashi's expression changed on the spot. This fist was too wild and tyrannical. It was as if 10,000 heavenly dragons of the Great Path had merged into one and condensed into a supreme source of power. Once they collided, it was very likely that he would be seriously injured. He could only thicken his face and shout that they should join forces to resist Su Yan, but it was already too late. Su Yan's movements were too violent. He had already arrived in front of Qiu Jiashi under the shrinking of the earth. This fist was iron-blooded and tyrannical. It couldn't be avoided, and the only way was to meet it head-on. The battlefield was completely blurred because the energy field was too terrifying. There was even a bloody light blooming and dyeing the sky red. The young experts among the heaven-sealing 10 heroes were all terrified. They finally saw Su Xianren's true combat strength. When they wanted to join forces to help Qiu Jiashi, it was already too late. In this blood-stained space, the void collapsed. The fists of that blazing figure directly exploded Qiu Jiashi's incoming fist. Qiu Jiashi's entire arm exploded into a bloody mist. Qiu Jiashi let out a low roar in fear. What was this? In a single exchange, his entire arm had been shattered. Just how barbaric was Su Yan's strength? Just how far did his grasp of the great Tao surpass theirs? Qiu Ji was shocked and frightened. Just now, he had thought that Su Yan was deliberately humiliating him, but now it looked like that wasn't the case. If Su Yan's true body had charged over, he would have already been killed by a single fist. He didn't know whether he should rejoice or feel humiliated. Su Yan had condensed 10,000 Daos, bestowing them with life and divine charm. In the end, he had reaped a great harvest from his trip to Sky Bamboo Mountain. The accumulation of the great Tao realm in the past could finally be released, exuding a vast divine might here, awe-inspiring everyone present. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and make your move. Qiu Jiashi hurriedly retreated. It was hard to find a match for this ferocious person in the same generation. Only true young supreme beings could fight him. His words woke up the 8 heroes who were still in shock. For a time, divine light bloomed in this blood-stained void. Wave after wave of turbulent energy storms were born, joined forces to suppress him. 9 of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes roared toward the sky. After witnessing how terrifying their opponent was, they went all out, erupting with their strongest battle prowess. These were a total of 9 Great Peak Stage Heavenly Deity Realm elites. Each of them surged into the starry skies, their divine power exuding to the extreme. Under their joint forces, they drowned out the heavens of the universe, covering everything. Suppress. The 9 great elites shouted. They didn't believe that the 9 of them joining forces couldn't suppress a single Su Yan. No matter how strong one was, there had to be a limit. Faced with this suffocating divine might that filled the skies, Su Yan raised his head to look. His eyes were as sharp as blades, and his clothes fluttered loudly. Boom! Faced with this situation, Su Yan was like a divine furnace of the great Tao that was burning. His pores spewed out 10,000 Daos of light, and there was vaguely a terrifying domain power being released. It was powerful to the point where it could support a universe world, opening up an invincible domain that belonged to Su Yan. Domain power! The 9 heroes were stunned once again. Even an overlord among heavenly deities would find it extremely difficult to pry into the power of a domain. What was a domain? It was to construct a unique domain space with one's cultivation at the peak of perfection. This was a domain that belonged exclusively to the Divine King. But why did Su Yin cultivate a domain world? Even so, it couldn't scare the 9 heroes who joined forces. We don't even fear the Divine King, let alone a mere Su Yin. Suppress for me. The 9 heroes' divine might surged, and the 9 layers of divine might they released were like 9 galaxies that fell from the heavens. One after another, the divine might was vast and boundless. It covered Su Yin, forming a terrifying domain that was also accompanied by a formation aura. Who could withstand this pressure? They really didn't believe that Su Yan's blurry domain could withstand it. The 9 heroes' joint forces had already bombarded Su Yan's blurry domain. Boom! A terrifying energy wave radiated out, enough to topple mountains and overturn seas. Thousands of layers of energy waves surged out in all directions. Apart from the valley sealed by Su Yin, everything else was shattered and turned into nothingness. Suppress. The 9 heroes shouted. The 9 layers of energy source continued to sink, causing the domain space condensed by Su Yin to distort and even tremble. It seemed like it was about to collapse. The 9 heroes were overjoyed. As expected, Su Yin couldn't withstand it. Even the great Dao domain formed in advance couldn't withstand their ultimate technique. Kill. In the face of this bloody suppression, Su Yin roared toward the sky. This roar seemed to split the heavens and earth. The domain changed, and in an instant, it was majestic. It awakened from the dead silence and was endowed with overflowing divine might. This was extremely frightening. In the scene, Su Yin seemed to have turned into a wheel of the great Tao. He recited the supreme profundity of the beginning of all things, causing the power of this domain to circulate and turn into a chaotic sea that spat out millions of chaotic ripples. Everything was torn apart, and the 9 layers of divine might collapsed and disintegrated, and one figure after another fell out of the space. They vomited blood and were dizzy from Su Yan's roar. They were on the verge of fainting. Some powerhouses who could barely withstand it were shocked. At the same time, they also had crazy killing intent. They roared, "Kill, kill him. Use all your strength to kill him." The 9 heroes were shocked. They instantly stabilized their minds and faced Su Xianren, who was about to charge over. They clapped their hands toward Su Yin and released their auras. This wasn't ordinary energy. The 9 heroes were like 9 blazing suns, chanting the great Tao heavenly scripture. Su Yin, I admit that you're very strong, but under the heaven-sealing 10 formations, you'll die without a doubt. Qiu Jiashi shouted coldly. This was the method that their race was proud of. The heaven-sealing 10 formations, a formation formed by the 10 powerhouses. Once the formation was formed, even the Divine King would be trapped and killed by them. Although there was one less, there were still 9 figures. They were like blazing suns that sealed the sky. They leaked their divine power and turned it into a formation that sealed the sky and earth. When combined together, their aura was so savage that it could even shatter the heavens. This was the fluctuation of a peak killing formation. Even time and space were sealed. The moment the 9 heroes' divine power merged, it was as if 9 stars were aligned and wanted to burn the world. Kiki, Su Yin, turn around and take a look. Your beloved woman's beautiful head is about to be cut off by me. A cold laugh rang out. In a valley full of vitality, Qiuji appeared beside Bamboo Moon with a killing sword in his hand. He said with a sinister tone, "You think you can easily suppress me? Wrong. I could have broken free just now, but I didn't. If you want her to die in a dignified manner, then kneel down for me. Kneel all the way from here to the outside world. Otherwise, I'll let you see your beloved woman die under my sword." Good, ha. Qiuji, well done. When we return to the family, I'll ask for a reward for you. The heaven-sealing 9 heroes laughed and were incomparably proud. Soon, their divine might would shock the world. If the dignified Su Xianren were to kneel here to the outside world, it would be a big event that would shake the universe's races. It would also be enough to comfort the souls of the fallen experts of the heaven-sealing region. You all, A hoarse voice rang out, enunciating every word clearly, containing a cold, killing intent. The whole world trembled inexplicably. A terrifying aura directly penetrated the heaven-sealing 10 formation. This was a formless spreading field that contained a bone-piercing, killing intent. As a figure bloomed, it directly split the 9 heavens. You all deserve to die. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His black hair danced in the wind. His eye of a universe opened and shot out a golden light beam that penetrated the heaven-sealing 10 heroes and blasted the universe's celestial bodies. His aura completely erupted, terrifying fluctuations roaring out like a sea, releasing a type of great might. A type of unmatched pressure filled the entire heaven-sealing 10 formations, moreover penetrating outwards. This area of the void collapsed. Chapter 1038. The killing sword in Xiao Zhi's hand almost slipped out of his grasp. This was a kind of killing intent that affected him. Xiao Zhi felt as if his body and mind were being torn apart. It was as if he had fallen into purgatory and was enduring the judgment of death. Xiao Zhi was terrified. Boundless cold air rose up in his heart. He trembled and almost fell to his knees uncontrollably. This was because he had seen through a kind of invincible majesty that could not be changed. It could suppress all enemies. Even Xiao Zhi felt that the scene in front of him was unbelievable. The heaven-sealing 10 matrix had been developed. Although the outside world said that Su Yan was also a master of strange arts and was proficient in formations, the truth was that Xiao Zhi was the truth. The answer was precisely Xiao Zhi. After all, there was a flaw in the heaven-sealing 10 formation. If it was truly a complete heaven-sealing 10 formation, it would be extremely difficult for Su Yan to resolve it. However, the flaw in the heaven-sealing 10 formation appeared to be extremely damaged under the illumination of Su Yan's universe eye. Boom! Eye of the universe. Roar! The heaven-sealing 10 matrix directly exploded. Terrifying divine power surged. Heaven and earth trembled under Su Yan's fury. Xiao Zhi almost wet himself. At this moment, Su Yan was like a ferocious dragon in human form. He was too terrifying and tyrannical. He forcefully opened the heaven-sealing 10 matrix. In the process of attacking, one shadow after another was sent flying. In a flash, the 3 heroes were killed. This was just along the way to kill Xiao Zhi. When the shadow rushed over, Xiao Zhi's legs went soft. It was as if an ancient dragon had descended into the mortal realm. The vast divine power suppressed him so much that he was about to crawl and tremble. Xiao Zhi howled in grief. He could not withstand the pressure. He did not even have the time to take out his treasure. Su Yan controlled the humanoid puppet and could adjust the strength of his battle strength. Now he was at the peak of the heavenly god realm. Combined with his great Tao divine power, how could ordinary people resist his invincibility? Su Yan punched out. It was like a hot knife through butter, destroying everything in its path. Kill. Go quickly. Even if they attacked as a group, they could not stop this vicious person's tyrannical battle strength. The 6 heroes were really scared out of their wits. They broke into a run and did not want to stay a moment longer. The night was torn apart. Su Yan's body was full of divine light. His eye of a universe stared coldly at the 6 heroes. A torch's golden eyes. Su Yan fiercely pulled out a sword embryo. The heaven-cleaving sword illuminated the entire world. Su Yan waved his sleeve, and the void bags of the 3 fallen heroes landed in his hand. Su Yan had found 3 bottles of heaven-sealing liquid. This gave Su Yan hope. As long as there was enough heaven-sealing liquid, Zhu Yu's injuries could be temporarily stabilized. None of you will be able to escape. Go quickly. They even wanted to spread the news that Su Yan had cultivated the eye of the universe. It was too important. They had to spread the news so that the young overlords of the various races would be wary of his eye of the universe. The 5 Jia fled in panic. They did not dare to look directly at the cold figure who was chasing after them with a woman in his arms. Save me. His legs felt like they were filled with lead. His speed dropped sharply. This was Su Yan's power affecting him. He was in despair as he saw the cold, iron-blooded war god appear in front of him. Bastard! He went berserk. If not for the tyranny of the Sealing Heaven region and Xiao Boyan's strategy, the Sealing Heaven 10 heroes would not have come alone. But now it was too late. Su Yan's archenemies were not here. No one could help him now. Finally, his body was torn to pieces by Su Yan's palm and turned into a mass of bloody light. Sealing Heaven region, I really have to thank you this time. Another comrade was killed. Su Yan had killed a total of 6 of the 10 young experts who came to kill them. Their race had sealed the incomplete universe. It would be a joke if they were killed without leaving a single one behind. This was a loss that the Sealing Heaven region could not bear. This was one disaster after another, one disaster after another. It was another young expert with a powerful aura. His powerful life force was quickly extinguished. He had been killed. Qiu Jiashi roared like a madman. He was the fastest and was very close to the entrance of the incomplete universe. Su Yan, you devil. You will die a horrible death. Sooner or later, my Sealing Heaven region will capture you alive. 8 of the Sealing Heaven 10 heroes had been killed. Su Yan's cold voice penetrated. He said, if the 10 Ingjia of the Sealing Heaven region die here, your ancestors will be heartbroken. Qiu Jiashi's aura skyrocketed again. His almighty bloodline was burning. His aura soared and his speed became faster. A pair of giant wings appeared behind his back and danced in the wind. With every step, Su Yan passed through time and space and arrived at the end of the earth. I'm almost there. However, when he looked back, his face was ferocious because the 9th person had also been killed by Su Yan. Su Yan, I won't forgive you. Just you wait. There's killing intent. The people in the field looked over and saw a figure quickly crossing through the chaos. The experts of the Sealing Heaven region laughed. Good. Our Sealing Heaven 10 heroes have returned in triumph. They even completed the mission in advance. How could they have completed the mission in half a day? Qiu Boyan laughed and said, they are all heroes of our race and should be rewarded. I will personally reward you when we return to the family. Look, there's someone else. This person's primordial spirit was powerful. He could sense a turbulent air wave sweeping out. What? However, before he could finish speaking, Su Yan, who was looking down at the sky, raised his golden foot and stomped on Qiu Jiashi. His power was terrifying beyond compare. At the end of the phone, 5, Xian 81 Chinese. Chapter 1039. It was as if the sky had collapsed. Everyone was petrified and dumbfounded. What was going on? They had been frightened by the actions of the Sealed Heaven's 10 heroes, but they had captured Su Yan and brought him back in such a short time. Qiu Jiashi's appearance caused the expressions of the experts from the various clans to become uncertain, especially the expert from the Ancestral Hall. If the Almighty of the clan did not come, and Su Yan was captured and brought to the Sealed Heaven region, even the Ancestral Hall might not be able to take down the Sealed Heaven region. However, the current scene made everyone dumbfounded. The appearance of the second person was too shocking. He directly raised his foot and stepped on Qiu Jiashi. Even the experts of the Sealed Heaven domain were dumbfounded. If it weren't for the distance between them and the entrance to the universe and the vast chaotic zone, they would have brought the two of them back and interrogated them about what had happened. How could there be internal strife? They're fighting among themselves? Someone whispered, internal strife, my ass. The expert next to the person said with a strange face, damn, didn't you see? He's not an expert of the Sealed Heavens region at all. What? Everyone gasped. If he wasn't an expert of the Sealed Heavens region, then there was only one person left, which was Su Xianren. Boom. It was a violent scene. Su Yan descended from the sky like a king overlooking the world. He raised his golden foot and stomped down fiercely. This was a terrifying power, a peerless belief that stepped on the kings and stood on top of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Qiu Jiashi looked up to the sky and roared. Blue veins bulged on his forehead. He was angry and shocked. If he was really suppressed by Su Yan in front of the world, the Sealed Heavens region couldn't afford to lose face. He burned his body in desperation and unleashed his most powerful combat power, evolving a defensive technique to resist Su Yan. Buzz. The sealed heavens ancient scripture was activated, interweaving a bright golden holy light and manifesting many diagrams in the space, one after another to defend. Boom! However, Su Yan's foot was too ferocious. It was as if hundreds of thousands of mountains had fallen, and the pressure was overwhelming. The moment it smashed down, all the defensive techniques collapsed. The diagrams in the sky were trampled into pieces. The world lost its color, the sun and the moon dimmed, and the void collapsed. A tyrannical foot stomped on Xiao Jiashir's head. Puff! Xiao Jiashir spat out a mouthful of blood. His head was on the verge of collapse. Because of the intense pain, his legs went soft, and he directly knelt on the ground. His knees pressed into the ground, causing a large black crack to appear. At the same time, thick blood splattered out. Everyone was scared silly. Xiao Jiashir, the leader of the 10 heroes of the Sealing Heaven region, had his head crushed by ruthless Su's foot. His knees also fell to the ground. Now, he was kneeling in the chaos, at the entrance of the broken universe. This shocked everyone. Shouldn't this be the scene where the Sealed Heaven's 10 heroes captured Su Yan and forced him to kneel there? But now, the Overlord of the Sealed Heaven's realm was kneeling in front of the world in such a humiliating manner, facing the strange gazes of the world. Many people were dumbfounded and didn't know what to say. The result made them speechless. Wasn't the contrast too big? Xiao Jiashir let out a cry. His eyes were so red that they were about to collapse. Even if he could survive, would he still have the face to see others in the future? What right did he have to represent the young generation of the Sealed Heavens realm? Even the overlords of the Light family wouldn't look at him in the eye. The Sealed Heavens realm had also sealed the incomplete universe in a thunderous manner and sent the Sealed Heavens 10 heroes to kill Su Yan. But what was the result? He, who had just advanced, was kneeling there, trembling. Bastard! The 5 half-step overlords of the Sealed Heavens realm roared. The blood in their bodies flowed backward, and they were so angry that they were about to faint. The Sealed Heavens realm was already miserable enough, but now the Sealed Heavens 10 heroes entered just to kill Su Yan. But what happened now? How could the strongest, Xiao Jiashir, fall into such a situation? Who can tell us what's going on? Why did the Sealed Heavens 10 heroes lose so miserably? Xiao Boyan was silent. There was a bloody hole in his chest that kept bleeding. Because of his anger, his injury worsened, and more blood flowed out of his chest. There was also a terrifying, murderous intent that swept across the entire place. With a thought, millions of corpses would fall. The gods trembled, and the divine king didn't dare to talk. He was really worried that the Overlord would go crazy and kill all the living beings present. Normally, they wouldn't doubt the Overlord's mentality. However, this Overlord of the Sealed Heavens realm was once so angry that he emitted green smoke. Now, if he couldn't control the Overlord's fluctuations in his body, the living beings would be in a terrible situation. Bang! The sound of bones cracking could be heard. Xiao Jiashir finally collapsed and turned into a bloody mist. Su Yan stood in the pool of blood. With a flick of his sleeve, he took out his void bag. He found 3 bottles of Sealed Heavens elixir in it, which surprised and delighted Su Yan. With this Sealed Heavens elixir, Bamboo Moon could be saved. As long as her injuries could be contained, Bamboo Moon's crisis would definitely be resolved. After doing all this, Su Yan's eyes lit up and the ferocious aura in his body dissipated a lot. His eyes also penetrated the chaotic zone and saw the various experts gathered in the outside world. For a moment, the world shook, and one after another, an oppressive aura swept across the land. The Sealed Heavens realm had been defeated. They were speechless. They didn't even have the face to open their mouth to seal the incomplete universe. After all, they had lost too miserably. The 10 heroes had fallen and turned into nothingness. What else could they say? What else could they do? Even Xiao Ming was frantically suppressing the killing intent in his body. The sealed heavens' 10 heroes had lost miserably. This meant that in the sealed heavens realm, there was no one in the heavenly god realm who could compete with Su Yan. The defeat of the 10 heroes also meant that the sealed heavens realm would suffer even more losses. A batch of future top experts would be lost. This was a bloody loss for the sealed heavens realm. It was an extremely heavy blow to the sealed heavens realm. Su Yan, Zhu Tian, soared into the sky, his aura swallowing the mountains and rivers. His awakening made the sky gloomy. Many experts of the same generation almost fell to the ground. They could feel it from Zhu Tian's body, an invincible legend in the long river of time. Every generation of Zhu Tian had an invincible legend. It was the same for every generation. The Zhu Tian of this generation could only be stronger. Now his aura could swallow the world, and he looked disdainfully at his peers. He had his eyes on Su Yan. At the same time, dozens of resplendent killing lights rose from the sky and on the ground. The North Demon of the Demon Domain, who wanted to become the king of all demons of this generation, also had his eyes on Su Yan. He took out a halberd and pointed it at Su Yan. These two powerful enemies had fought with Su Yan before, but it was to no avail. But was it just them? The answer was definitely not so. Zhu Tian of the Ancestral Hall, the North Demon of the Demon Domain, and Emperor Nan of the Daluo Empire also stood out. He had an imperial majesty that could swallow the starry sky. He did not say anything, nor did he do anything. It was as if he disdained to join forces with others against Su Yan. Su Yan had never seriously fought with any of the 4 heavenly supremes. The North Demon did not open his heavenly eye, so Su Yan did not know his strongest battle strength. Emperor Nan was naturally powerful. He was the strongest prince of the Daluo Empire. As for West Buddha and East Buddha, they were the most mysterious in the eyes of the world. They were also the most tyrannical supremes. Of course, there was also the indestructible body of the He clan. There were even other young overlords who stood out, wanting to compete with Su Yan. Since you are all here, come in and fight. Su Yan's long black hair draped over his shoulders. He faced the heroes of the world with courage that shook the heavens. His iron-bloodedness and domineering aura alone made many people tremble. There were also some women who fell head over heels for him. It was their first time seeing Su Xianren. However, they felt that it was not a big deal for him to suddenly fall after reaching this stage. His name could also be passed down through the ages and leave behind a legendary story. Su Yan's might startle the experts in all directions, making those of the same generation feel suffocated. How tyrannical was this? Facing such a situation, he still had the confidence to challenge. He definitely knew what he was facing, but Su Xianren still dared to stand up and speak. The heavens-sealing 10 heroes had died tragically, and the incomplete universe was destined to not be peaceful. Su Yan, oh Su Yan, you are so arrogant. The sagely battle god stood out and sneered. We are all attacking together. Can you withstand a single round of attacks? Su Xianren, don't be too arrogant. You should lower your head and admit your mistakes before you waste everyone's time. Who do you think you are? If you want to die, then be the first to come in. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He angrily rebuked the indestructible body, not putting him in his eyes at all. He coldly shouted, Since you are all here, then don't continue to hide. Today, we will fight to the death. No matter who comes, I, Su Yan, will accompany you to the end. The heavens and earth trembled, and there was an uproar in all directions. Some people looked at Su Xianren and were shocked by his words. Their blood boiled, and the mentality of charging and breaking through the enemy was born. Is he trying to claim supremacy over the world? Some people's words were trembling with fear. Since ancient times, who could fight their way out of this kind of situation? If he really killed his way out, then he would be unrivaled in the world. This kind of tyrannical aura had truly shocked the heroes of the world. Would a good accompany you to the end? It's just killing you. Is there a need for the people of the world to take action? The indestructible body couldn't watch any longer and wanted to be the first to step out. The He family's people couldn't stop him. Some people wanted to say that the heavens sealing 10 heroes had all fallen, so there was no need for the weaker young overlords to join in. Some people had a premonition that the incomplete universe was going to collapse the heavens. Perhaps Su Xianren would really kill a group of people before he died. Su Yan, let's fight in the incomplete universe. Zhu Tian was the first to step out and flew towards the incomplete universe. The indestructible body's expression changed, not giving him face. If you want to fight me, then come. Today, we will fight to the death. I haven't killed the heavens sealing 10 heroes to my heart's content. If you're not afraid of death, then come. Su Yan's aura was cold as he turned around and stepped into the incomplete universe. Chapter 1040. I haven't killed enough of the heaven-sealing 10 heroes. Su Yan's last words were like a bone-chilling wind that swept through the entire area, silencing the entire place. Waves of astonishing cold air were emitted from the bodies of countless people. Their hair stood on end. Some were panicking, some were fearful, and some were filled with reverence. Killing the heaven-sealing 10 heroes was a symbol of strength, the supreme might of the younger generation. In the past, the prehistoric Big Brother Balai had helped Su Yan hold up the sky. Some people said that Su Xianren relied on a forbidden backer, and that was why he could run amok. But now, if it was a fair competition, how many people in this world could be mentioned in the same breath as Su Xianren? Bastard! Su Xianren, you've gone too far. The experts of the heaven-sealing region roared. Their eyes were so red that they were about to shed tears of blood. The vault of heaven was split open by their roars, torn apart by their fury. An incomparably bitter aura filled the entire place, bringing with it a world-destroying aura. The experts of the heaven-sealing region roared like crazy. The wounds in their hearts were difficult to heal. They were mad with hatred. They couldn't deal with the prehistoric Big Brother back then, and now they couldn't suppress Su Xianren, and this time they came with great fanfare. Moreover, there was a powerful expert who forced Su Xianren into a life-and-death situation. The world thought that Su Yan wouldn't survive. This was the serious consequence of angering the life-forbidden zone. But now, the heaven-sealing 10 heroes that they were so proud were all killed. This kind of tyrannical counterattack shocked all the experts in the world and caused great waves. But what could the experts of the heaven-sealing region say? Xiaoming couldn't enter at all. Did the clans still have a young overlord who could compete with Su Yan? Even Xiao Boyan was breathing heavily. The powerful expert's killing intent leaked out. Blood flowed continuously from the bloody hole in his chest. Some people were scared badly. They thought that this powerful expert would really go crazy from anger and couldn't do anything to Su Yan. Some people found it laughable. At that time, they had a high and mighty attitude and berated the young experts of various races not to enter. But now, a bloody response made many people sympathize with the heaven-sealing region. Bang! It was only when the sound of space shattering exploded that the oppressive atmosphere was swept away. This place was in complete chaos. One after another, powerful heroes took to the sky and rushed into the chaotic zone. This was the only path to the damaged universe. At that time, it was controlled by the heaven-sealing region. Now, they no longer had the face to control, and this led to a large number of heroes rushing in. So many people want to fight against vicious Su. Many people's voices were trembling. This scene exceeded their expectations. They thought there would only be a few young overlords. They didn't expect so many to rush in. Otherwise, there are too few experts who can fight against Su Yan. But most people want to watch the battle. It's good for their growth. They can fully understand the gap between them and the peak heroes. Yes, my clan's children also went in. They are usually very arrogant. I hope they can learn a lesson from the battle between Su Xianren and the various peak heroes. That's true. If this battle really breaks out, it'll definitely decide life and death. This is a bloody battle between the strongest of the same generation. Geniuses of the same generation going in to watch will indeed be of great help to themselves. They can find their own shortcomings and gaps. Many cultivators gathered in this area. After all, the Great Path City was the #1 city in the universe. This once prosperous and damaged universe was now very lively. Important figures from all walks of life gathered here to watch the battle. A total of 100 heroes with powerful auras crossed the chaotic zone and rushed toward the large crack where Su Yan had disappeared. One after another, even more and more young geniuses rushed in. This damaged universe restricted the entry of powerful cultivators. Some didn't believe in heresy and tried, but as soon as they stepped in, they were crushed to death by the cruel energy of the universe's laws. Even if a mighty figure rushed in, even if they could survive, their vitality would be greatly damaged. No one dared to try and take the risk. In the dim, damaged universe, Su Yan knew that a fierce battle would soon come. He didn't know how it would progress. In short, Su Yan was fully prepared for this battle. At the critical moment, he could try to break through to the celestial god realm. It's hard to say whether I'll live or die in this battle. Bamboo Moon, if I die, what will you do? Su Yan strolled between the rivers and mountains, holding Bamboo Moon in his arms and looking at her deeply. Her body had recovered a lot of temperature, and her delicate body was also suffused with a layer of soft light. This was the energy of the heaven-sealing liquid. The heaven-sealing liquid had sealed Bamboo Moon, sealed her injuries, and also sealed her life essence that was about to be extinguished. In addition to the heaven-sealing liquid on Xiao, it was enough for Bamboo Moon to last for a long time. Bamboo Moon's problem was temporarily alleviated, and Su Yan also had to consider his next step. Since he was already trapped in the damaged universe, Su Yan wanted to step into the celestial god realm as soon as possible. He didn't know how long this damaged universe would last, but Su Yan had to increase his strength as soon as possible. If he died, then Bamboo Moon would be completely hopeless. I have to live. Su Yan clenched his fists. He put Bamboo Moon into a spatial treasure. After doing all this, Su Yan was ready to let loose and fight. At this time, Su Yan's pupils shrank slightly. His figure was a little blurry. Because the speed at which he crossed the void was too fast, the space was blurry and blurry. He felt that something was wrong. He stepped forward and appeared in front of a fallen young expert. This was a Yingjie from the Sealed Heaven region that Su Yan had killed before, a peak celestial god realm expert. Su Yan still remembered that he had cut off his head and annihilated his Yuan spirit. But now, this corpse made Su Yan's heart full of amazement. The corpse had turned into a dried corpse, and there wasn't a trace of life essence left in the body. All that was left was a bag of skin. He feared that he could tear off the skin with just a stretch of his hand. Su Yan's heart was heavy as he continued to approach. Along the way, Su Yan killed one expert after another from the Sealed Heaven region. These people hadn't died for long, so how could they have lost all their blood essence? There was something very wrong with this. Soon, Su Yan found the next corpse. Like the previous one, it had lost all its blood essence. It was unknown what kind of creature had swallowed it. It was very strange and evil. Su Yan felt a chill in his heart. This was an unpredictable change, an extremely evil event. This incomplete universe had existed for a long time. It was difficult to estimate how long it had existed. Vaguely, a strange aura enveloped Su Yan, causing all the hair on his body to stand on end. No. Su Yan breathed heavily. He raised his vigilance. What had happened before? Why would a dead person lose all his blood essence and leave only an empty shell? This was too strange. Su Yan even opened his eye of the universe to observe. He felt that there was a familiar smell in this dried corpse, a smell that he had encountered before. But what exactly it was, Su Yan couldn't remember. His face was somewhat gloomy. He crossed all the way and finally returned to the valley. In the end, Su Yan found 9 empty corpses. This made Su Yan feel disbelief. His scalp went numb. This was too evil. Could it be that this dead universe gave birth to some kind of creature? Su Yan's heart was heavy. If this was really the case, then the creature in the dark was too terrifying. It had completely fooled Su Yan. He didn't notice that there was a second group of people here. Of course, this was only Su Yan's guess. Or could it be that this was the unique energy of this incomplete universe? The reincarnation universe was once extremely powerful, but it also declined. I don't know what happened in that battle. I can't stay here for long. I have to find a way to leave as soon as possible. Suyan's complexion was dark and uncertain. Suyan didn't want to face this unknown danger. He only wanted to leave and find a place to treat Bamboo Moon. Only then would he feel at ease. But Suyan's mission had yet to be completed. As for the reincarnation fruit, Suyan didn't hold out much hope. If the reincarnation fruit had really matured, it would have been dug up long ago. How could it be so easy for him? In the past, this place was the focus of all the large races. It would look on helplessly and not dig up the reincarnation fruit. I wonder how Big Brother is doing. The reincarnation fruit must be extremely important to him. If I rush out now, I'll just be throwing away my life. Perhaps there is a second path in this incomplete universe. I can't be in a hurry to leave now. I have to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Suyan's heart was heavy. He constantly raised his vigilance and observed his surroundings to prevent any unexpected changes from occurring. Where is Suyan? Where did he go? Didn't we have to fight to the death? No matter how many people come, we have to accompany them to the end? Suyan, why did you hide? At this moment, the entrance to the incomplete universe was bustling with activity. Some of the spectators were disappointed because they didn't see Suyan. Ha ha ha, Su Xianren, you're only SOSO. You still have the face to talk about fighting to the death. I never expected you to run away first. Didn't you say you haven't killed enough? Get out here and I'll let you kill me. Let's see if you can injure my indestructible golden body. The indestructible body laughed angrily. His voice traveled very far as he wanted to force Suyan out. He felt that Suyan hadn't gone far and should be hiding in the dark. If a grandmaster of the occult sect wanted to avoid them, it would be very easy for him to hide. Whoosh! The sound of space trembling could be heard. Someone looked at Zhu Tian and found that he was extremely fast. He followed a path and swooped down, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. Some people felt that Zhu Tian had discovered Suyan and chased after him. However, Zhu Tian's movements were too fast. He had already disappeared in the blink of an eye. No one knew where he had run off to. Their faces were calm as they launched a large-scale search. Someone noticed a kind of brutal energy fluctuation floating in the distance. Wave after wave, it quickly spread over. Look, many people shouted. They saw Zhu Tian erupt with power and bring out the Zhu Tian halberd. He slashed out a large crack in space, following Suyan's remnant aura and continuing to spread. Get out here. You can't escape. At the same time, Zhu Tian shouted coldly. He had already caught Suyan's aura and hadn't gone far. He used the invincible weapon wielded by the previous generations of Zhu Tian to split open a large crack in space. This was a tyrannical method that horrified the cultivators of the same generation. What a terrifying weapon, what powerful divine force, to be able to split open such a deep space. Just this move alone had stunned many young experts. Boom! When the pitch-black space-time crack reached a certain area, it directly exploded. Someone saw that a figure had charged into the exploded area. His footsteps caused the sky to rumble. His aura was so powerful that it made people tremble. Chi! Suyan didn't say a word. He directly brandished the heaven-cleaving sword. Chapter 1041. In the outside world, the ancestral hall solemnly took out a bone mirror. This mirror was made of bone, and if one observed it carefully, they could feel a saintly aura pervading the air. This was a bone mirror forged from the bones of a supreme existence. The surface of the mirror was interwoven with profound patterns of order. When it shone, it was like a condensed ancient universe. It was frighteningly deep and seemed as if it would devour the primordial spirits of millions of creatures. Many people sucked in a cold breath. This was an extremely precious treasure forged from the bones of a supreme existence. It was also personally tempered by a supreme existence. Under its illumination, even the primal chaos was penetrated, and the light was projected into the incomplete universe. Soon, the scene that appeared on the mirror caused a commotion. A battle has already begun. It's much faster than we imagined. Many experts watched with wide eyes. This was a battle that was hard to come by in 1,000 years. The ancestral Hall's Zhu Tian, who had been invincible for generations, and the strongest rising star of the burial region race. These two groups have been fighting for a very long time. Now, the two strongest geniuses of the burial region race were facing off. This could be said to be a struggle for hegemony among the myriad races of the universe. The battle between Zhu Tian and Su Yan was enough to establish an invincible legend. Sword lights filled the sky, each one reaching tens of thousands of feet. They were dazzling and filled with a sky-rending sword intent. The sky-cleaving sword was a secret weapon of the Ancestral Hall that was not passed down to outsiders. It was a series of treasures with peerless sharpness. Under the control of Su Yan, sword lights surged like an ocean, tearing apart space and surging towards Zhu Tian. Su Yan, I will kill you. Hand over your life. The Ancestral Hall's Zhu Tian roared into the sky. He had always been looking forward to Su Yan's misfortune. He wanted to kill him and wash away his previous humiliation. As long as Su Yan fell, it would be a bloody blow to the burial region race. After all, Su Yan was the current representative of the burial region race. As long as he was killed, it was enough to bury the future hope of a generation and deal a blow to the burial region race's current fate. 1. The ancestral heaven great halberd in his hand shone brightly. This blood-colored halberd was like a demonic weapon that had sunk into the depths of hell. It had once drunk the blood of all the kings of the world. As time passed, this halberd became stronger and sharper. When it revived, it erupted on its own. The great blood-colored halberd soared through the air, heavily crushing the sword radiance that filled the sky. What a terrifying weapon! The experts of the same generation all turned pale. This great halberd was too savage, surging with bloody light. It was a sharp weapon that could easily break apart divine weapons. Now that it was in Zhu Tian's hands, his aura soared greatly. What are you talking about? Come and fight me. Su Yan attacked horizontally. His long black hair fluttered behind his head, and the heaven-cleaving sword in his hand was about to ignite. Thousands of sword rays poured out, and when they were circulated to the extreme, they combined together to form a heaven-cleaving sword that could pierce through the heavens and the earth. Kill! Zhu Tian roared and charged forward with the blood-colored halberd. Facing the heaven-severing sword ray that could overturn the sky, Zhu Tian exuded a domineering aura that could sweep away all the kings in the world. He pounced forward and swung his halberd madly. Everything was so terrifying. The great battle had just begun, but in a short period of time, it had already reached the peak of madness. The two sects' vicious weapons shone, blazing brilliance surging like a sea. They clashed just like that, precious swords splitting the heavens, great halberds crossing the sky, ferociously hacking down. How terrifying! A few geniuses were scared out of their wits. What kind of domineering divine force was this? The two clashed, and the battle was intense. In a short period of time, they hacked down violently dozens of times. It was as if they were pushing two great seas of fury against each other, causing the world to tremble. Cracks appeared on the mountains and great earth. So much so that the aura of the two's collision leaked outwards. Many mountain rocks were destroyed, and a few great mountains were turned into ashes. The crowd was overwhelmed with shock. This kind of vicious might was too great. In a short period of time, this region was completely destroyed. Everything was visible from the aftermath of their battle. Even the area where they collided was a blur. Only two figures could be seen. In this world of destruction, a battle at the pinnacle of perfection was unfolding. It was as if two great space-time tunnels had collided. The heavens shook and the earth trembled. Their divine force immediately flourished with divine radiance, recovering to its peak as they launched a frontal assault. Zhu Tian's large hand was like a black abyss, covering the sky and covering the earth. A palm smashed down, containing a type of divine might that suppressed all the kings in the sky. He was like an unequaled king, and the aura of his palm was like a flood breaking through a dike. The world sank into darkness. The deities trembled, feeling a type of suffocation. What kind of power was this? It made the geniuses of the same generation breathe heavily. They were all overwhelmed with disbelief. Just how strong was Zhu Tian? He hacked down with a palm, intending to decide victory and defeat. Faced with this kind of divine might that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, Su Yan's palm formed a fist imprint. His aura swallowed the starry sky, and his fist radiance was blazing like a blazing sun. It pierced through the darkness and swept everything before it. Kill! The two experts roared in anger. They had clearly seen through the strength of their opponent. The divine abilities they operated went berserk, and an astonishing collision took place here. This space was instantly shattered. The enormous force of the collision was too terrifying. It distorted time and space, emitting a suffocating and terrifying pressure. Many geniuses were truly in despair. Su Yan was actually so strong. Zhu Tian was also so terrifying. Was this the power of a peak expert of the same generation? The two figures collided at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, as the world trembled, a beam of bloody light blossomed, dyeing the shattered void red. Heavens! Everyone was astonished. This was just the beginning, yet someone had already been injured. Just who was the one who wasn't qualified? The two figures were also sent flying by the force of the collision. Bloody light blossomed where they separated, but it was soon completely annihilated. That was because the space had collapsed and couldn't withstand the destruction of their power. Su Xianren is injured. The whole place was in an uproar. They saw blood dripping down from Su Yan's fist. Cracks had appeared and seeped deep into his bones. Many people were frightened. They admitted that Zhu Tian was powerful and should be able to suppress Su Yan. However, Su Xianren wasn't a weakling either. Yet he was injured at the beginning of the battle. What did this mean? It meant that Zhu Tian was too powerful. Bastard! The indestructible physique expert's eyes turned red. This was originally his glory, but Zhu Tian had forcibly snatched it away. He felt that he was the strongest expert of the same generation. Once the indestructible physique appeared, who in the world could contend against him? Now, Su Yan was injured in the clash with Zhu Tian. This meant that his body wasn't strong enough. This was Su Yan's weakness. In the outside world, the scene displayed by the ancient mirror caused great waves. No one had expected Su Xianren to be injured so quickly. Was Su Yan not strong enough, or was Zhu Tian too strong? My clan Zhu Tian has endured the cruel tempering of the God-Fiend furnace. His physical body is enough to dominate the world. It seems that Su Yan's final battle is destined to end tragically. An elder from the ancestral hall laughed loudly. Su Xianren, Su Xianren, you finally encountered Zhu Tian. But once you meet him, it's destined to be his death and judgment day. The people from the ancestral hall were very happy. Once Su Xianren was killed, Zhu Tian's fame would spread far and wide. His era would also arrive. They chatted and laughed, but they realized that the people around them were very quiet. Then, they saw Qiu Boyan's gloomy face. The two elders from the ancestral hall were stuttering, not daring to continue their discussion. Weren't they saying that the heaven-sealing 10 heroes were trash in front of Zhu Tian? Something's wrong. An old expert said, Zhu Tian is also injured. That's impossible. The two elders from the ancestral hall were shocked. They hurriedly stared at the scene displayed by the bone mirror. The bloody scene caused their expressions to fluctuate. Su Yan was injured, but so was Zhu Tian. There were small holes in his palms. They were densely packed, and blood was gushing out from them. They contained the killing intent of the great Tao. The entire scene was in an uproar. Both experts were injured. This shocked them. Su Yan had suffered physical injuries, but Zhu Tian had suffered great Tao injuries. You've exceeded my expectations. You've improved very quickly. Zhu Tian was still cold. He held the blood-colored halberd and pointed it at Su Yan. Su Yan, no matter how strong you are, you won't be able to escape this calamity. Don't brag too much. Be careful that you don't humiliate yourself. Su Yan's eyes were cold. It's just killing you. It's nothing. Zhu Tian sneered with disdain in his eyes. Everyone was shocked. Zhu Tian's invincible will was too strong. He didn't put Su Yan in his eyes at all. His words were enough to show his attitude towards Su Yan. Come, let's fight. I'll let you know that you're no match for me. Zhu Tian roared. His body rippled with divine radiance, and a terrifying black light was emitted along with the vast sky domain. Su Yan had just swung the sky, cleaving sword when he realized that it was full of cracks. The spectators were stunned. They didn't know what to say. Moreover, the sky-cleaving sword was the weapon of the ancestral hall. In the end, it was destroyed by the blood-color halberd. What kind of lousy sword is this? Zhu Tian's secret weapon? Trash. Su Yan shook his head and criticized the sky-cleaving sword. This made Zhu Tian shout coldly. It's just killing you. Why would I need a weapon? Moreover, what kind of weapon can your declining race take out? That weapon of yours is not bad. I'm still lacking a suitable weapon. Su Yan looked at Zhu Tian's blood-colored halberd with reddened eyes. Zhu Tian, your ancestral hall has given me so many good things. I don't think I'm lacking this one. Be **starred. Hand over your life. Su Yan's words infuriated Zhu Tian. His true fire burned fiercely, and his aura was strong. He was like a dark demon lord who looked down on the world. His entire body surged with a monstrous black divine light, illuminating the entire world in darkness. The moment he pounced, a strange fragrance bloomed, accompanied by a terrifying great Tao symbol burning in the distant world. It was as if a stick of incense had been lit at the end of the universe. It burned the world, collapsed the reincarnation tunnel, and wanted to make all life fall into eternal life. Buzz! Zhu Tian's eyes widened, and his pupils turned into two black skies. They were extremely deep, and he had seen through the truth. Su Yan's expression changed drastically. He suddenly disappeared from the spot and rushed toward the end of the universe. He let out a loud roar, and the Earth's shrinking technique was pushed to the limit as he rushed in with all his might. The ancestral hall Zhu Tian was the same. He didn't care about anything. Chapter 1042. Some people were in a daze. They were watching the battle, wanting to see just who was stronger between Su Xianren and Zhu Tian. At the same time, there were people who wanted to know just how great the disparity was between them and the strongest of the younger generation. That way, by watching this battle, they would be able to find their own shortcomings. But now that the battle was on the verge of breaking out and a life-and-death battle was about to begin, Su Yan and Zhu Tian suddenly vanished from the eyes of the world as if they had agreed beforehand. This scene made them all dumbfounded. What the F***CK was going on? If you run away, what are we still doing here? This is... The North Monster's eyes widened. A faint heavenly eye was about to open between his eyebrows. He had lost his composure and arrived in the blink of an eye. He rushed towards the source of the battle as fast as he could. At the same time, there were also a dozen or so outstanding figures of the younger generation who had clearly sensed something. They didn't want to fall behind. Some rode on flying swords, some brought out ancient war chariots, and began using various methods to rush towards the source of the battle. As for another group of people, although they didn't know what had happened, they knew that something incredible must have happened in the area that Su Yan and Zhu Tian had lost their composure and rushed towards. This was once an incomplete universe, and it had even given birth to heaven-defying substances like the reincarnation fruit. Countless races had once fought a bloody battle here, and there had also been bloody incidents where overlords of the same generation had fallen. Perhaps in this incomplete universe, there were still opportunities that hadn't been discovered in the past. Now they had surfaced. Quick, bring out the mirror and reveal the truth. The experts in the outside world lost their composure. What were the backgrounds of Zhu Tian and Su Xianren? They were outstanding figures of the younger generation. Zhu Tian's status didn't need to be mentioned. The resources he possessed weren't inferior to Qiu Ming's. As for Su Yan, he had once spent a fortune at the Great Tao Auction House and won a heaven-shaking gamble. His net worth was terrifying, and there were only a few cultivators in the same generation who were richer than him. But what was happening now? Two overlords of the younger generation had actually left. They had given up on the battle and rushed towards the depths of the incomplete universe. At this moment, they seriously suspected that a great fortune had been born in the depths of the universe. If an incomplete universe that was about to collapse really gave birth to a great fortune, it would definitely be an incredible opportunity. It's a bit difficult. The ancestral hall grand elder's expression sank. The laws contained in the incomplete universe are too powerful. It is extremely difficult for our bone realms to detect them. Hearing this, the faces of the anxious cultivators around immediately darkened. This was just an excuse. The bone realm of the ancestral hall had already successfully seen the scene inside, so it was not difficult to see the scene in the depths now. But the ancestral hall grand elder didn't want them to know what was going on inside. The doyens of the ancestral hall would not be so foolish as to do so. With Zhu Tian in the picture, the chances of Zhu Tian succeeding were extremely high. However, if more people were involved, it would be a huge pressure on Zhu Tian. If there really was a world-shaking good fortune unearthed, then the problem would be terrifying. Perhaps there would be terrifying Ingjie appearing in the other deathly forbidden zones. The primal chaos ruins waters were extremely deep. Up until now, there was bound to be a group of young supreme beings who had yet to appear in the world, or they might be the direct disciples of a supreme being, or they might be the strongest of the younger generation in the life forbidden zone. Right now, they didn't come out into the world because they didn't lack resources. However, if there really was something that attracted them, then this incomplete universe would become a place where all the heroes of the world gathered. At that time, even Zhu Tian wouldn't be able to easily obtain it. Ha! Ancestral Hall, Grand Elder. How can the Bone Realm not reflect the truth? I think we should let our clan's supreme beings take action and activate the Bone Realm to see what is going on. A half-step supreme being from the sealed heaven region stood out and said with a gloomy face, Ancestral Hall Grand Elder, what do you think? There shouldn't be a problem, right? Suddenly, there was a burst of laughter. Seeing the ugly faces of the two Ancestral Hall Grand Elders, their hearts were filled with anger. The people of the sealed heaven region had suffered a great loss because of Su Yin, and now they were venting their anger on them. It was really hateful. However, even supreme beings had come out, and even the fuming Chiu Boyan was here. The two grand elders of the ancestral hall smiled bitterly. Let's try and do our best. If it doesn't work, then we can only give up. Buzz. This supreme being's bone realm emitted a dazzling aura. There seemed to be a supreme being awakening from a deep slumber within the mirror. It emitted the profound mysteries of space and time. The splendor that burst out was like a rain of space-time light. The bone realm's power reversed. As the mirror swayed, a grand image appeared. It seemed to include every blade of grass and tree in the incomplete universe. One had to admit that the bone realm was powerful. When the radiance radiated into the depths, it illuminated a mysterious place with strange runes flowing around it. The corner of the truth caused everyone's eyes to widen and their bodies to tremble. This was especially so for those with stronger cultivations. They were so shocked that they stuttered and didn't know what to say. The corner of the truth caused the ancestral hall grand elders to cough up blood. They shouldn't have taken out the bone realm. They shouldn't have used the bone realm to illuminate Zhu Tian's glorious moment. However, it was too late to say anything now. This region had completely changed. Gods and demons were moving, and the scene was monstrous. In the distant Great Tao City, in less than a few breaths of time, over 100 space-time arrays have been activated. Once this news spread out, perhaps in less than a day, the entire chaos ruins would erupt into a terrifying commotion. There were even some powerhouses who directly took out a region-crossing array platform. After activating it, they sent out a message to the young powerhouses of their race. They couldn't be delayed on the way. The world is about to change. Things happen too suddenly. It won't cause too much of a storm. In short, those powerhouses that are killing their way in are in for a treat. Great Tao City was surging with wind and clouds. A major piece of news appeared. This was a major event that shocked all supreme beings. A once extremely powerful, incomplete universe was about to become a place that the younger generation would fight for. In the direction of the source, there were large mountains. They were grand and imposing, piercing into the clouds. The huge black mountains gave people a feeling of spiritual pressure. Now, Su Yin and the others were close to their destination. Su Yin saw tens of thousands of mountains lining up. Thick divine runes had already begun to evaporate. During this process, there was a strange floral fragrance and an extremely mysterious energy fluctuation spread out. For a time, the tens of thousands of giant black mountains seemed to come alive. They turned into gods and demons that filled the skies. They emitted an oppressive atmosphere that caused one to involuntarily prostrate themselves in worship. Su Yan's complexion turned solemn. He stopped, not wanting to cross over. The tens of thousands of giant black mountains were arranged in an orderly manner. It was as if this was a special layout that was born from the heavens and earth. The tens of thousands of giant mountains seemed calm, but when they appeared in Su Yan's eyes, it was as if the tens of thousands of giant mountains were revolving, crushing the void and creating strange fluctuations. There were no energy fluctuations, but to Su Yin, it was as if a strange array was forming a giant energy field. Su Yin couldn't see through it in a short period of time. He didn't dare to act rashly because he sensed danger. Zhu Tian and the others also sensed danger. Sun Dome even glanced at Su Yin. Seeing that he didn't approach, he also stopped. He was very clear that Shui Guan had set up a trap and killed everyone. It was Su Yin who had led them in. If there were benefits along the way, Su Yin would have rushed in long ago. Why would he wait until now? What is that? More and more people rushed over. They were all shocked when they saw the mysterious runes rising from the tens of thousands of mountains. The mysterious black runes carried with them a different kind of floral fragrance. They couldn't help but want to rush in. But Zhu Tian and the others hadn't moved yet. Who would dare to rush in now? I seem to see a flower blooming. Someone said. Many people also saw a blurry flower blooming from a mysterious place. At first, they couldn't see what was real or fake. But as time passed, this strange flower gradually became clear. It grew rapidly, as if it had drilled out from space and time. Its roots seemed to be hidden in the depths of the universe, absorbing mysterious energy to grow. Wong. Finally, it tore through space. Black roots spread out, rapidly growing like vines. This scene was visually shocking. This was because this strange flower was rapidly growing, soaring upwards. The giant vines pierced through the sky, as if they were going to pierce through the great stars of the universe. Under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone present, the giant black vines surged with mysterious runes. Blurry energy fruits evolved one after another. When the 6 energy fruits materialized from the vines, Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. This vine was completely different. It was extremely terrifying. It gushed out thick symbols of the great Tao, as if describing the 6 paths of reincarnation. It caused one's mind to be intoxicated, unable to extricate themselves. Reincarnation fruits. These are definitely reincarnation fruits. Someone roared uncontrollably, his eyes red. These were the legendary reincarnation fruits. Once the reincarnation fruits were born, there would be a total of 6 of them. They represented the supreme mysteries of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Each reincarnation fruit was a priceless sacred object, a supreme treasure. But now, they were witnessing the reincarnation fruit's growth with their own eyes. The 6 great energy fruits matured quickly. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before they matured. Everyone went crazy. Such an amazing fortune was right in front of them. It could be said that they could easily obtain it. Someone couldn't control himself and rushed forward, wanting to pick the reincarnation fruits. But just as he took a step forward, the imperishable body stepped forward and directly suppressed him. The imperishable body said with disdain, "One look and I can tell you are a wild boy from the outside world. You have no knowledge. Don't you know that no one can touch the reincarnation fruits during their growth process? Once you do, you will disturb the fruit's growth. The imperishable body seemed very strong, but the words of Wild Boy from the outside world caused Sun Dome and the others to frown. He was talking about the forces outside the Chaos Ruins. After all, the native creatures of the Chaos Ruins referred to the outside world as a lowly, cosmic civilization. What are you looking at? Are you not convinced? The imperishable body said coldly, "Did I say something wrong? Every blade of grass and every tree here is an asset of the Chaos Ruins. Why do you have to fight for it? Do you have the right? You're just a piece of trash. Hurry up and get lost." The consequences of these words were even worse. What did the imperishable body mean? Could it be that they had to join forces and force Su, Xianren, and the others to retreat? But for the reincarnation fruits, it was really worth it. As long as the imperishable body joined forces with the 6 young overlords, they might really succeed. Su Yin, since the reincarnation fruits haven't matured yet, let's take advantage of the time to fight to the death. A cold light shot out from Zhu Tian's eyes. His aura seemed to be able to swallow mountains and rivers. The surging essence blood in his body caused many people to stagger back. His cold eyes stared at Su Yin. The imperishable body's words reminded Zhu Tian that the reincarnation fruits were too valuable. If he couldn't eat them alone, then he could join forces with the North Demon and Emperor Nan. With 3 Supremes joining forces, how could they not get the reincarnation fruits? Zhu Tian, I just said that once the commotion is too big, it will disturb the fruits. The imperishable body frowned and said, "This place is not suitable for a big battle. That's what I want." The God-fiend aura in Su Yan's body surged. He activated the human-shaped puppet to make up for the difference in cultivation level. Step by step, with each step, his aura became more terrifying. Su Yan, the imperishable body's face darkened. He scolded, "I just said it. Are you ignoring me? Let's fight." Zhu Tian looked down on his peers. In his eyes, only Su Yan was his opponent. Chapter 1043. They had already fought before. In the eyes of the world, Zhu Tian's physical body was domineering. As the strongest person in the ancestral palace, he should be invincible in all major fields. After all, no one could break the legend of Zhu Tian being invincible in his generation. In the eyes of the ancestral palace, this generation's Zhu Tian was the strongest and the most perfect. Once he completely recovered, he would definitely be a tragedy for the cultivators of his generation. At the same time, Su Yan was famous in the world and had gone through many bloody battles. He had killed his way to a peerless reputation. On the Dao battle platform, he had destroyed the Han family's master grandmaster with one punch. He had even killed all the heaven-sealing 10 heroes. Su Yan's peerless strength was obvious to all. Now that the two of them had family feuds, once they met, it would definitely be an exciting battle. Without a doubt, the last battle hadn't ended yet. Now they were facing off again. However, what made the surrounding people dumbfounded was that the indestructible body was ignored by the two of them one after another. The indestructible body wanted to interfere from the beginning, but unfortunately, Su Yan and Zhu Tian ignored him. He was the indestructible body of the generation, a peerless genius of the Dao Hall. Legend had it that once the indestructible body was completed, his physical body would dominate the world. Even divine weapons wouldn't be able to hurt the indestructible body. But now, the indestructible body was ignored. Many people were stunned. What was going on? Since when was the indestructible body so unwelcomed? Some people felt that the indestructible body was too much. Why did he have to command Su Yan and Zhu Tian? His indestructible body was powerful, but Su Xianren and Zhu Tian weren't ordinary experts. They were invincible in their generation, especially when Zhu Tian said, "Come and fight." The indestructible body was completely silent. Everyone could feel that this was the calm before the storm. Perhaps the indestructible body would interfere in this battle. I thought Zhu Tian wouldn't use his invincible weapon. Someone exclaimed. The battle had begun. Zhu Tian had the mentality to kill Su Yan. He waved the blood-colored halberd with one arm and pressed forward. Haha, the reincarnation fruit is about to ripen. We can use this chance to get rid of a strong enemy. It's enough to reduce the pressure for Zhu Tian to get the fruit. That's right. The reincarnation fruit has been leaked. It won't be long before a large group of experts gather here for a battle. But Zhu Tian is anxious to kill Su Yan. Can he really kill Su Xianren so easily? Many people were discussing the reincarnation fruit. There were also people who stared at the reincarnation fruit with fervent gazes. At the source of the mountain range, there was a huge jet-black vine that seemed to have grown out from another space-time. The vine was enormous, and mysterious symbols were rising from it. As for the 6 special fruits it bore, they emitted a mysterious radiance that described the supreme Tao of reincarnation. The supreme treasure was right in front of their eyes, but no one dared to rush up recklessly. The reincarnation fruit was not so easy to take away. Even if they really plucked the reincarnation fruit, it would be impossible to take it away easily. In the area where the samsara fruits ripened, a great battle had already erupted. Buzz, the blood-colored halberd, which had drunk the blood of the kings of various eras, was blazing with a bitter aura. It was like a demonic weapon that had been resurrected from hell. It erupted with a peerless will to conquer the world. Rip! Black cracks appeared in the space-time. The blood-colored halberd surged with a peerlessly sharp blood-colored light. In an instant, it erupted with a beam of blood-colored light. It was enough to split the mountains and split the seas. Come! Su Yan's blood was boiling. Zhu Tian was the strongest and most mysterious enemy he had encountered since his debut. Su Yan was looking forward to fighting Zhu Tian to his heart's content. Boom! An extremely heavy aura engulfed the entire place. An iron staff appeared to be damaged, but when it erupted, it transformed into an immortal iron staff with peerless strength. It surged with an extremely powerful and tyrannical martial aura. The iron staff soared through the sky, erupting with dazzling light of the great Tao. The void was crushed. Boundless light was released. It was as if thousands of true dragons were tearing through the place. It was so dazzling that it made one's eyes bleed. What kind of weapon is this? Many people cried out in alarm. The immortal iron staff suppressed all kings. It could be considered a battle saint weapon. Before people could properly observe the immortal iron staff's form, Su Yan had already activated it to the extreme. Thousands of heavy staff shadows took the shape of a dragon and covered the heavens and earth. Heaven subduing staff formation. A furious roar erupted. Su Yan's figure soared through the sky. His head of long black hair danced chaotically. His aura swallowed the starry sky. He held the immortal iron staff tightly with one hand and began to surge with boundless power. It was as if he was swinging an entire world, as if he was swinging the heavens. It pervaded the air with a great Tao suppressing the heavens. Boom! Everything sank in the midst of destruction. The blood-colored divine radiance from Zhu Tian's halberd was directly crushed into powder. This staff was heavy to the extreme. It revealed an enormous shadow that connected the heavens and earth. It was like a giant golden pillar that supported the heavens as it ruthlessly smashed down. The crowd was frightened. They felt as if their bodies were about to explode. They cried out in alarm. What kind of powerful divine ability was this? They all felt as if the heavens were falling down. As the iron staff surged and smashed down, even time and space became indistinct and scattered. Kill! A long roar appeared. A terrifying figure soared out from the collapsing space-time. Zhu Tian was truly tyrannical. The terrifying aura from his body overflowed in all directions. His roar shook the heaven and earth. Tens of thousands of giant black mountains seemed to tremble. Many people's bodies trembled from the roar and were about to fall to the ground. They looked at Zhu Tian with terrified eyes. At this moment, he was tyrannical to the extreme. Zhu Tian's halberd emitted blood-colored radiance. The great halberd expanded endlessly and released boundless bitter, killing intent. It made the crowd feel as if they had fallen into an icy cave. It was hard to imagine just how many Aingias the Great Halberd had hacked to death. At the critical moment of its former glory, boundless blood-colored waves erupted. They pushed aside dry weeds and cleverly rushed forward, producing a world-shocking collision with this giant, heaven-supporting pillar. Boom! The two exceptional weapons blazed fiercely. They collided, shaking the heavens and sending sparks flying everywhere. The huge shockwave that surged out from the light had already sent many cultivators flying. Many people fell into despair. Weren't they too powerful? Some of the self-proclaimed geniuses had goosebumps all over their bodies. Even the Iron Blood King, a ferocious person who was about to step into the Divine King realm, was moved. This was only the beginning, yet they could actually display such a level of battle prowess. The Iron Blood King could already see the birth of another two experts who could look down on their peers. Buzz! In the void, two streams of blood splashed out. It was an extremely savage scene. The collision between the two great heavenly weapons caused the two's bodies to tremble violently at the same time. Even the webbing between their thumb and forefinger was ruptured. A turbulent storm overflowed in all directions. The two experts trembled as they were sent flying. However, at the same time, they released an explosive roar. In an instant, they soared into the sky and erupted. Bring out your true battle prowess. I don't have time to continue fighting with you. Zhu Tian's aura was ferocious. He was like a black war god towering between heaven and earth. A strange change occurred in the vast sky. It was as if a pitch-black painting was about to unfold, bestowing Zhu Tian with unparalleled battle prowess. Since you're in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Su Yan's eyes widened. The human-shaped puppet's power was recovering. After all, Su Yan had sealed his physical body. He had to rely on the human-shaped puppet to fight Zhu Tian. He stretched out his body. The aura of the self-sealed flesh shell was changing. This was a demonic god soaring through the sky, shocking the world and making ghosts weep. Hee, those who spoke to me like this in the past are all dead. You're no exception. Zhu Tian wanted to slaughter Su Yan. The conviction to kill him was born in his heart. His entire flesh shell seemed to have turned into a purgatory in the firmament. As it spat out blood, the great Tao in the sky rumbled. The power of his physical body was restored, and the peerless aura of a deity began to be released. Su Yan walked over step by step. His precious body surged with demonic light, and his aura became stronger and stronger. A kind of domain was born. This was the domain of Su Yan and Zhu Tian's aura. In an instant, a violent collision occurred. The accumulated power of the two awakened from their slumber. As time passed, they became stronger and stronger. When they began to collide, the vast void shattered as a terrifying energy source erupted. Bastards, if you continue fighting and disturb the growth of the reincarnation fruit, your crimes will be unforgivable. Stop fighting. The indestructible body walked over with a gloomy face. He took a step forward and unleashed his boundless golden body. He blasted open the core area where the two domains intersected, causing a large crack to appear. The sagely battle god stood in the middle, looking extremely domineering. His golden body was resplendent, and his essence blood surged endlessly like a surging ocean. He forcibly tore open a large hole in the domain of their collision. Everyone was dumbfounded. No one had expected the indestructible body to come and mediate. He even took action in such a domineering manner. Could it be that he also wanted to compete with the two of them? Zhu Tian, don't brag here. I've killed many geniuses in the Ancestral Hall. You're not the only one left. Su Yan's aura could swallow mountains and rivers. His shoulder-length black hair danced in the wind. Golden divine light shot out from his eyes like a burning torch as he stared at Zhu Tian. The sagely battle god was furious. He had been ignored again. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Zhu Tian was infuriated. He was a little too powerful, and the vast world in the sky turned gloomy. A huge black hole appeared behind him, spewing out the great Tao of the sky. That astonishing aura of the great Tao spread out in all directions. "The one I'm going to kill is you," Su Yin coldly shouted. His aura had completely changed. Gods and demons were reborn. Boundless light shone as a condensed primal chaos appeared behind him. The two opposing domains surged violently, causing the sagely battle god, who was stuck in the middle, to change his expression slightly. Even when the two released their terrifying auras, the moment they completely erupted, the world was pierced through. The clouds in all directions were also spying on them. It was like a dam had burst open, like a dragon and tiger splitting the sky, like a Kuan Peng emerging from the sea. The two powerful auras poured out. They were wild to the extreme as they pierced through the night sky. This was the release of peerless trump cards. The black sky swooped down, and the primal chaos broke through the dam. It was as if two savage dragons had collided, forming a world-destroying storm. It caused the world to go berserk. Their auras surged and tore the sky apart. Puffed. The sagely battle god spat out a large mouthful of blood. He felt that his golden body, which he was so proud of, was emitting a heart-wrenching pain from the collision of their energies. Chapter 1044. Retreat. Someone in the field let out a low roar and issued a warning. Many people quickly retreated after hearing this for fear of being affected by the spreading energy. Under such circumstances, if they were seriously injured, they would have no chance of competing for the reincarnation fruits. Only a small number of people remained in the field. Their bodies floated in the void as they used their own energy to suppress the void. However, the area around them had completely collapsed, and the void was blurry as it began to explode. Even those with powerful physical bodies felt their essence blood churning as they encountered a certain degree of threat. They were quite alarmed. After all, these people had extraordinary combat strength and were unrivaled in a large region. But now, they were only standing here to watch the battle, yet they were almost unable to stand firm due to the energy fluctuations. This caused them to turn pale with shock. Just how strong were Su Xianren and Zhu Tian? Even the imperishable body expert had joined in. There were already 3 people participating in this battle. Some people guessed that more people would come to kill their way in. After all, there were too many people who wanted to eliminate Su Xianren. Rumble. The storm that filled the sky revolved violently. The shocking scene of the collision was truly ferocious to the extreme. Many people found it inconceivable. The 2 of them were heavenly deity experts, but the divine might they displayed was equivalent to the 2 divine kings' domains engaging in a battle at the pinnacle. The youngsters these days are getting more and more powerful. The divine king, who was watching the battle through the bone realm, was moved. The collision between Su Yin and Zhu Tian caused the storm to rage. Sand and pebbles were sent flying and rolling. Just like that, an apocalyptic scene was born. Even the core area was blooming with bloody light, which shocked many old experts. Some of them had already been injured. After all, they had already fought to this extent, and it was now clear who was the weaker one. Su Yin is finished. He will definitely be killed by Zhu Tian. The 2 elders of the Ancestral Hall were very confident in Zhu Tian's combat strength. He possessed an invincible stance and was even praised by the family as the most outstanding Zhu Tian of all generations. They had been nurturing a myth and legend for a long time. This myth and legend had moved unhindered through one universe epic after another. Now, in this universe epic, he would definitely shine brilliantly and suppress all sex in the universe to become the new king of the universe. In fact, the ambition of the Ancestral Hall was not much different from that of the Dark Nether race. They both wanted a young king of the universe from their race. As for dominating an entire life star domain, this was too insignificant for their plans. It's golden blood. It's a very special bloodline. Some great figures frowned when they saw the golden blood on the bone realm. Even though it was sputtered from the human body, it didn't disperse. It carried a noble aura. Many people were discussing. Golden blood had always been rarely seen. The ancestral hall's bloodline was black, an extremely special and mysterious bloodline. Something's not right. Someone's expression changed drastically. Although the image on the bone realm was somewhat blurry, they could vaguely see two extremely terrifying figures. They hadn't even moved half a step, but their bodies were gushing with energy fields, creating a heaven-shattering and earth-shattering scene. Could it be? The whole place was in an uproar. Many people stuttered, not knowing what to say. The expressions of the He family members changed drastically. They were nervous and uneasy. The sagely battle god's previous actions were too thoughtless. He wanted to be in the limelight and mediate the fight, but he was at the center of the collision between the two powerful fields. The pressure he had to endure was too great. Of course, this was just a guess. As the aura of the two changed, their fluctuations were even stronger than before. Suppress. Zhu Tian roared. He didn't believe that he couldn't force Su Yin back. His entire body's godly power surged, and the darkness was like a tide. It suppressed the heaven and earth, shaking and rumbling as it surged over. It emitted a kind of peerless power that looked down on everything. It was like an eternal black abyss had descended. Haha, you came at the right time. Su Yin gave a carefree laugh. His entire body flourished with divine light, causing the mountains and rivers to rumble and the sun and moon to lose their light. It was as if the world was about to collapse, especially the primal chaos behind him that was about to sink. 10,000 true dragons drilled out from it, representing the power of 10,000 Daos. They were accompanied by the boundless great Tao of gods and demons as they charged forward. The energy was as turbulent and terrifying as the ocean. Two vast fields were released, and it was as if two great space-time forces had collided. The immortal body at the center let out a loud roar. He couldn't hold on any longer. His golden body was spilling out blood and was even about to be torn to pieces by the two boundless storms. At the critical moment, the immortal body took out a supreme treasure and blasted open a large crack, quickly escaping. He was extremely calm as he escaped, as if nothing had happened. He suppressed the chaotic fluctuations in his blood essence and left with large strides. The sagely battle god has rushed out. Everyone cried out in alarm. Someone said with a face full of admiration, as expected of the immortal body. He was able to escape unscathed from the center of the two erupting energy fields. He is truly worthy of being called the young Overlord of his generation. That's right. The sagely battle god is truly bold to try and stop the fight at this level. This sentence received the agreement of many people. When it reached the sagely battle god's ears, it made him relax a lot. No one had noticed his ugly state just now. However, just when the immortal body thought that he had avoided the battle, who would have thought that the battle would be so intense? The energy fluctuations directly surged and crushed the mountains and the earth, causing the void to collapse. The two furious powers were like two lions that collided together, creating a monstrous light that swept through all directions. It formed a great void crack that destroyed the world. Kill! The two experts roared angrily in the midst of destruction. They poured out their strongest battle prowess, forming a series of huge collisions. It was completely a competition of their own foundations. Moreover, in the process, they once again released their power. More than 10 major divine abilities erupted like lightning. The world changed. It was very frightening. Stars streaked across the sky one after another, and pieces of the sky fell down one after another. The two great powers displayed their divine abilities amidst the chaos. More than 10 violent attacks erupted in an instant. Shocking waves surged, and it was hard to imagine just how powerful this collision was. In short, everything was destroyed. The sagely battle god who had been calmly walking away had a shocked expression. The energy waves were too terrifying. He was very close to the source of the battle and wanted to quickly avoid it, but he had already missed the best opportunity. It was as if a tsunami had sunk the earth. The sagely battle god was submerged in it, and was crushed by the two invincible powers. He cried out miserably as his golden body trembled. Large amounts of golden blood spurted out from his pores. Everyone was stunned, not knowing what to say. The Iron Blood King shook his head. It was clear that the sagely battle god had been injured before, but he had been pretending that nothing had happened. It seemed like nothing had happened, but he was not in a rush to leave after coming out. Instead, he was hit by the final collision, and his flesh was about to split open. They looked at the immortal body who was trying to stop the fight. He was covered in blood and looked terrible, causing them to be dumbfounded. There were also people who were shocked. The immortal body was strong enough, but just from the power of the domain, it was difficult for the immortal body to withstand. This was enough to show just how abnormal Zhu Tian and Su Xianren were. Of course, the immortal body was too arrogant. He was so arrogant that he stood in the middle of their collision. Wasn't he looking for trouble? Did he really think that the supreme body could dominate the world? Roar! The sagely battle god let out a beast-like roar. He was mad with hatred. He had lost too much face. He had never thought that the two would be so powerful. They were both releasing spiritual wills that could tear apart supreme bodies of the same generation. In the end, the sagely battle god could only take out a supreme treasure to block it and quickly escape from the battlefield. The experts who had been humiliated by the sagely battle god were laughing wildly. They were exclaiming in their hearts that it was too satisfying. Bastard! The sagely battle god's face was ashen and ugly. His eyes were so sharp that no one dared to look directly at him. Now, no one dared to laugh at him. After all, he had lost too much face. Originally, he had been the one to mediate the fight. He had even commanded Su Yin and Zhu Tian with an aloof attitude to stop fighting for the time being. Now he had swelled his face at his own cost and lost all face. His heart was burning with anger, but he had nowhere to vent it. At this time, the strange floral fragrance in the place where the reincarnation fruits grew became several times stronger. The fruits that had borne energy were shining on their own. They were chanting the heavenly music of the great Tao. The sound was earth-shattering. The fruits seemed to be repeating the reincarnation tunnel and explaining the supreme mysteries of the great Tao. This scene shocked the world. Many people could no longer sit still. Su Yin, give me your life. Zhu Tian's eyes were wide open. He let out an explosive roar. His killing intent surged like a tide as he rushed forward. He didn't want to waste any more time. He wanted to get rid of a powerful enemy as soon as possible. Now, fighting for the reincarnation fruits was the way to go. The dark tide that filled the sky surged into the sky. Zhu Tian was like an invincible king descending into the mortal realm. He held the blood-colored halberd in one hand and conjured the power of the great Tao of the firmament with his other hand. He charged at Su Yin with his peak combat strength. Come and die. Su Yin roared into the sky. His black hair danced in the wind. Lightning appeared in his eyes, turning into the eyes of lightning. Su Yan's figure soared through the sky and appeared in front of Zhu Tian in an instant. Boom! The immortal iron staff smashed forward. At the same time, Su Yan's palm struck out with lightning speed. His fist was like a rotating star in the universe. It emitted a powerful aura that could swallow the world. It was peerlessly domineering. Clang! During the process of the two murderous weapons colliding. The two powerful weapons released terrifying energy at the same time, launching a series of terrifying collisions. Kill! Su Yin roared. His fist was like a star in the universe. One punch after another, he unleashed a total of 7 punches in an instant. When the energy reached its limit, the 7 punches merged into one and turned into a cosmic comet. This punch shattered the great Tao of the firmament. The vast divine might of the great Tao was released, bombarding Zhu Tian's entire palm until it trembled and almost exploded. Chapter 1045. Roar! Zhu Tian was truly enraged. Su Yan's Big Dipper fist, which had reversed his battle prowess, was nearly suppressed by Su Yin. At the critical moment, Zhu Tian's aura merged. His body was like a condensed firmament, spewing out black divine light and covered in dazzling great Tao heavenly scars. Accompanied by the supreme divine energy, he forcefully blocked the violent power of the Big Dipper fist. "What are you shouting for?" Su Yan's eyes were like lightning. His pupils glowed and vaguely shot out terrifying golden lightning. He punched again and attacked the weak spot of Zhu Tian's defense. This punch was fast, accurate, and ruthless. It rushed straight at Zhu Tian with great offensive power. However, to Su Yan's surprise, Zhu Tian's divine energy rotated like a millstone in the firmament, patching up the weak spot and blocking the fatal threat of Su Yan's punch. Buzz! Zhu Tian's eyes were sharp and two balls of black flames burned. He was also shocked that Su Yan had seen through the weakness of his energy. Su Yan had almost succeeded. He guessed that Su Yan had cultivated an incredible Heaven's Eye. Similarly, Zhu Tian had also mastered an incredible Heaven's Eye. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to defend himself in such a short time and block the fatal threat. Su Yan, even if you have the human-shaped puppet to help you increase your battle strength, you won't be able to escape this calamity. I won't show you any mercy in this battle. Fight me with your true battle strength." Zhu Tian shouted coldly. He was like a black king standing tall in the night sky. Vast firmament energy soared behind him, and even his body became blurry. He merged with the great Tao of the firmament and formed the firmament world that was immortal. Moreover, when the firmament world was filled with chaotic light, the dark firmament seemed to be revived. It was filled with a heavy and profound aura that made the kings sink into it, unable to escape for the rest of their lives. Boom! Zhu Tian's aura surged as the voice of the great Tao exploded in the primal chaos sky. This was the Ancestral Hall's ancestral heaven scripture, an invincible scripture that allowed the ancestral heavens to dominate the world. It caused the primal chaos sky's aura to become even more terrifying as it sunk down like an abyss. What a terrifying Zhu Tian. The more he fights, the stronger he gets. Just how strong is his maximum strength? Let's wait and see. Su Xianren is also strong enough. When the two of them fight, it will definitely be a fierce battle. That's right. Being able to witness this battle will be of great help to my cultivation. I really hope that they will fight to the limit and let me see how heaven-defying the limit of the younger generation is. Many people's expressions changed as they discussed spiritedly. Some people even heard Zhu Tian's words. Su Yan only possessed his current strength because he was using a humanoid puppet. If it wasn't for the humanoid puppet, would Su Yan be able to withstand the current Zhu Tian? No one knew that Su Yan had yet to step into the heavenly god domain and was only a peak god realm ranker. Of course, even if he had the humanoid puppet to help Su Yan, this wasn't the strength that Su Yan would have once he stepped into the peak heavenly god realm. However, with his current strength, it was enough to deal with Zhu Tian. There's a price to pay for arrogance. Su Yan walked with a majestic gait. His figure flickered in and out of existence in the space-time. No matter how heavy the primal chaos heaven's might was, Su Yan was still as valiant as ever, looking down on all the kings of his generation, especially in his body. The eye of the primal chaos sea overflowed. Millions of rays of the great Tao shot out in all directions. When a terrifying, profound scripture was recited, Su Yan's body seemed to be revived. It was filled with a grand aura of the beginning of all things. This was the energy of the beginning scripture. It evolved in the domain of the primal chaos heavens, and its aura was so grand that it caused the primal chaos heavens to tremble. With this profound release of righteousness, Su Yan seemed to have opened up a new universe and evolved a new universe. All matter was pushed apart. Repeat. Su Yan roared into the sky. His pores surged with the beginning scripture, and he seemed to be gathering clouds to soar into the heavens. Layers upon layers of the beginning scripture were born. It was as if the four extremes of the universe were being recreated. The entire primal chaos heavens trembled and began to collapse. The beginning scripture was the #1 scripture of the burial realm race. Under Su Yan's circulation, the might of the great Tao was unfathomable. He was like a condensed universe, and his aura was so terrifying that the primal chaos heavens began to collapse. The magnificence of this scripture was truly unimaginable. The deeper Su Yin cultivated, the more he felt that the beginning scripture was extensive and profound. He felt that if he could grasp 10 to 20% of the beginning scripture, it would already be a very impressive feat. Su Yin even wondered if the beginning scripture originated from the celestial court. Was it a peerless, ancient scripture passed down by a mythological faction? Zhu Tian's expression turned grave. His race's ancestral scripture seemed to be suppressed. He found this hard to believe. Then, he thought that Su Yin might have cultivated his race's legendary beginning scripture. This scripture was recorded in the ancient books of the Ancestral Hall. But the ancient books also recorded that the universe's environment had changed. The beginning scripture could no longer return to its glory in history. But why could Su Yin borrow the beginning scripture to suppress his ancestral scripture? Zhu Tian's eyes were blazing. If he could obtain this scripture, his battle prowess might rise to another level. Moreover, he didn't need the essence of the ancestral scripture to walk his own peerless great Tao. Boom! All of a sudden, a terrifying light appeared. Many people were speechless. They saw the void sink as a purple hoof filled the sky. Its scales were cold, and it emitted an ancient and vicious divine might. Qilin step. The crowd lost their composure. This was a great ability of the Qilin lineage, especially the legendary Qilin step. Once mastered, one could trample the sea of stars and cross the universe. It was terrifying and ever-changing. Now, the Qilin step directly crossed over and trampled Su Yin. It contained a peerless spirit that could trample all the kings in the world. Northern demon, I think you're tired of living. Su Yin roared angrily. His body glowed, and a terrifying divine essence rose. He took a vigorous step into the sky, raised his fist, and punched the sky. It was accompanied by a deafening dragon roar that resounded throughout the land. A true dragon coiled around Su Yin's fist. It soared into the sky and collided with the Qilin step. The sky collapsed, and the void collapsed. Northern demon, back off. Zhu Tian's eyes turned cold. He saw the northern demon. It was him who secretly attacked. Everyone was in an uproar. The northern demon couldn't hold back anymore. Was he going to join forces with Zhu Tian to suppress Su Xianren? Once these two great talents joined forces, could Su Yin stop them? In fact, in the entire chaotic ruins, who could stop the attacks of two great heavenly supremes at once? Northern demon, get down here if you have the guts. Su Yin's hair flew in anger. He stared coldly at the northern demon and shouted, "If I don't kill you, I won't be Su. You're arrogant. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" The northern demon's face was gloomy. He was a heavenly supremacy who lived in glory. However, at his most glorious moment, everything was destroyed by Su Yin. It made his identity as the king of demons a little awkward. If he didn't kill Su Yin, it would be a stain on his life. No matter what, he had to suppress Su Yin. Northern demon, back off. Zhu Tian was imposing without being angry. The northern demon's figure, his tall and muscular body, was densely covered in golden scales. He was filled with the domineering aura of a demon king. He said to Zhu Tian, is there a need to waste time now? Even a breath's delay can lead to unpredictable changes. There are already people approaching the reincarnation fruits. Zhu Tian's face darkened. Indeed, a large number of experts had started to pass through the myriad mountains. There were even more people entering the mystic realm. If they were really late, the reincarnation fruits might be taken away by others. Even if they had the strength to fight, once this happened, it would definitely lead to a bloody battle between the various races. When that time came, rivers of blood would flow, and corpses would be strewn everywhere. The consequences would be quite severe. Don't hesitate anymore. I know it's not difficult for you to kill Su Yin. However, it's not convenient for you to use some of your trump cards now. You have to prepare for your Emperor's path in the future. The northern demon placed his hands behind his back. His words had a huge impact on Zhu Tian. He didn't expect the northern demon to know so much. Zhu Tian did have some trump cards, but he wouldn't use them easily. However, there were very few factions that knew about these trump cards. He didn't expect the demon territory to know about them. Now, let's work together to kill Su Yan. We'll get rid of a big problem before fighting for the reincarnation fruits. Isn't that better? The northern demon's words made Zhu Tian fall silent. Indeed, fighting for the reincarnation fruits was the most important thing now. If they really wasted time, they might not even get a single reincarnation fruit. These are the most important things. Hee, Su Yan, are you ready? The northern demon stared coldly at Su Yan. He was also aiming for the reincarnation fruits and didn't want to waste too much time on him. In fact, the northern demon also wanted to use this opportunity to kill Su Yan to prevent future trouble. As long as he could kill Su Yan, it wouldn't be difficult to deal with the Tai Bao Kai. Su Yan ignored the northern demon and looked at the others. Sun Dome and Emperor didn't leave either. They stood not far away, observing the battlefield and staring at Su Yan. You and you. Su Yan suddenly raised his hand and pointed at them. He said coldly, "You can't wait to fight too, right?" Sun Dome and Emperor Nan's faces turned cold. They didn't expect Su Yan to point at them directly. "Since you're here, come and fight." Su Yan's might was awe-inspiring. His cold words caused the entire place to be in an uproar. Many people gasped and were dumbfounded. They thought they had heard wrong. Some people thought that Su Xianren was crazy. He wanted a challenge 4 young lords at once. Was this guy crazy? Did he know what these 4 people represented? They represented the 4 pinnacle clans, and the 4 of them were also the 4 young paragons. 1 against 4? Some people thought they were deaf and had heard wrong. You're crazy. Do you really think we don't dare to work together? Sun Dome's face turned gloomy. 9 suns appeared behind him, emitting flames that could burn the world. They closed in on Su Yan. Su Yan, do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Emperor Nan's tone was cold. He thought that the young emperor was high up in the 9 heavens and was filled with inviolable imperial heavenly might. He was bathed in imperial dragon chi, and his divine power shook the sky. Isn't that what you want? Su Yan sneered. Then he looked at these people and shouted, "Come and fight. I don't want to waste time. I must get the reincarnation fruits." Jiuqian Divine Emperor. Chapter 1046. Everyone was shocked. Could it be that Su Xianren had really gone mad and wanted a challenge for young supreme beings at once? Northern Fiend, Southern Emperor, Zhu Tian, and Sun Dome. These 4 also had the support of 4 great clans behind them. They were all true heaven's favored children, supreme being experts of their generation. Sun Dome might be the weakest of the 3, but even so, Sun Dome had merged with the source of the flame of primal chaos. In short, the 4 young supreme beings were truly kings of their generation who could look down on their peers. They had never been defeated since their debut. But now, facing Su Xianren's provocation, the 4 young supreme beings were first a bit stunned, and then their eyes widened in anger one after another. You really are arrogant to the extreme. If we don't join hands and kill you, you really don't know your surname. Su Yan, you asked for this. Join hands and kill him for me. Surging flames of anger surged outwards. For layers of world-shocking divine might awakened, enough to suppress the 4 seas. Every single one of them had the qualifications to look down on a great life domain. All of them formidable heaven's favored children. Who dared challenge the 4 of them? One after another, ice-cold killing intent gushed out from their bodies, filling this boundless great earth, wishing to sever the souls and wills of all living things. What happened over there? What terrifying killing intent? I saw the 4 young overlords releasing killing intent, who angered the 4 young supreme beings. At this moment, countless people surged into the former reincarnation cosmos. Over 100 great space-time formations were constructed in the outside world. The experts of the various great sects and clans frantically rushed into the damaged cosmos. News of the reincarnation fruits had already spread, causing great waves. This was a supreme divine medicine, so who wouldn't covet it? They all wanted to take it for themselves. Now that this group of people appeared, It was enough to stir up a storm in the reincarnation cosmos. Even though there were only 6 reincarnation fruits, no one was willing to give up on this kind of opportunity. Countless geniuses poured in. Large groups of experts crossed the endless mountains, wishing to reach the source. However, the journey was very clear. Between the mountains and ravines, there was a type of reincarnation aura that swept up quite a few cultivators. Once they were affected, they would all turn into bloody light. They didn't even know how they died. But even with such a tragic scene, there were still countless people rushing over. Some people had even avoided many dangerous areas and were getting closer and closer to the core area. The reincarnation fruits were right in front of them, causing the eyes of all the experts to turn red with envy. Right now, before large amounts of people rushed into the 10,000 mountains, there were many cultivators who were trembling. They saw the 4 young overlords go crazy, their roars shaking the mountains, rivers, and great earth. A single thought from them was enough to slaughter 10,000 creatures. Is Su Xianren really that abnormal? He actually drew the killing intent of the 4 supreme youths. You can't say it like that. Zhu Tian and the others are in a hurry to reach the place where the reincarnation fruits grow. They are also worried that Su Yin will attack them from behind, so they plan to kill him in advance. The slaughter in this damaged cosmos was instigated by Su Xianren. He's already trapped inside and killed the heaven-sealing 10 heroes. It would be strange if the heaven-sealing region spared him. In short, Su Xianren is trapped here, so it's impossible for him to appear. Many people were discussing this. There were also groups of experts who rushed into the 10,000 mountains. Of course, there were quite a few experts who stayed behind to watch the battle. Many people felt that the reincarnation fruits weren't that easy to seize. Even if they could really seize them, could they really bring them out safely? Su Yin, take my fist. The sun dome released a long roar. He bathed the sky in radiance. The aura of the sun's divine light was sacred and majestic. It erupted in an instant. His fist gushed out tens of thousands of layers of golden flames accompanied by dense primal chaos energy. It could easily incinerate the universe. The sun dome had fused with the primal chaos origin. The aura within his body was blazing, causing cultivators of the same generation to tremble. The blood energy within his body was on the verge of decline. Sun Dome, you alone aren't qualified. The 4 of you can come at me together. Su Yan's eyes were wide open. His blood-stained robes fluttered in the wind as he took a vigorous step forward. His aura was full of vigor. He brandished his fist and attacked. Su Yan's fist was also shining with boundless golden light. It was as if a condensed sun was erupting. The solar fist erupted with dazzling light and directly collided with the sun dome's fist. The collision caused the heaven and earth to tremble. The clouds in the sky were evaporated. Boom! The 2 fists collided. Divine sounds rolled out, and a great explosion occurred in the void. It blossomed with dazzling, multicolored light. Work together to kill him. Northern Fiend and the other 2 were furious. They dove down at the same time, releasing their auras during the process. Every single one of them could be considered an unmatched overlord of their generation. They all had great divine abilities that they were proud of. Their cultivation in the heavenly deity realm had all reached the 6th or 7th layer. This group of people were already extremely close to the peak of the heavenly deity realm. Now, the 4 young supreme beings came together, their expressions cold. They wanted to give Su Yin a bloody lesson, teach him the price of his arrogance. Wang, Northern Fiend energy devoured 100,000 li. Behind him, a desolate ancient giant vicious beast soared. A Qilin roared towards the sky, full of the aura of a fiend king. It surged like a sea of purple ripples, surging over, its momentum heaven-shattering. The Southern Emperor's appearance was dignified, as if a young emperor was high up in the 9 heavens. He stood there without moving. Just the imperial draconic energy that surged out from his body instantly turned into an enormous golden dragon. Its enormous figure moved through time and space, tearing through the air. This was also accompanied by a type of dark tide that surged. It was as if the heavens were overturning. Layer after layer of enormous black waves poured down, containing the great Tao power of the heavens. They battered down until mountain rocks were annihilated, all living things extinguished. This was an extremely tyrannical, suppressive force. There were also divine flames that filled the sky, like fiery light ignited in the primal chaos. Every single flame was surrounded by blazing heat that could burn the world. The four young experts' auras were terrifying. They surged over, drowning out the vast space, making the surrounding spectators tremble endlessly. What kind of scene was this? It could be said that the four great kings were erupting with power together, making this damaged cosmos unstable, showing signs of collapse. Who can withstand this? There were geniuses who were all scared. Their power was too great, affecting time and space. The damaged cosmos' current strength was extremely difficult to contain their boundless divine force. There was the danger of destroying a corner of the cosmos at every turn. When the four layers of majestic divine force came into contact with Su Yin, it caused the latter to release the most berserk divine might. A terrifying domain was released, as if a king standing in a blur was awakening. The immortal iron staff in Su Yan's hands trembled. Streak after streak of resplendent light also blossomed from the iron staff. His body and the immortal iron staff's essence, energy, and spirit fused together. The primal chaos released a vast and boundless divine force. Heaven subduing staff formation. With a furious roar, Su Yan's long hair fluttered. His pair of eyes blossomed with golden light. In the state of man and staff becoming one, a boundless and majestic aura field rose from the ground in an instant. Snow-bright light was released. In the midst of destruction, a blurry giant pillar that supported the heavens appeared, as if it was supporting the peak of the heavens. It turned into a cauldron of divine iron, vast and mighty, a boundless source of power. Boom! In the eyes of the world, Su Yan's hands were holding the immortal iron staff. The immortal iron staff smashed down ferociously, directly smashing towards the four layers of destruction field. Under the stupefied gazes of everyone present, the four young supreme beings' might increased by a level. They were serious now. They could feel the power of Su Yan's secret technique. In short, no matter what, they couldn't retreat half a step. Suppress. The four young supreme beings' aura field was released, the might even more terrifying. Yes, this was a world-shaking collision. The iron staff seemed to have overturned the heavens. The four grand forces were like the evolution of the four poles of the cosmos, unfolding a great collision at the peak of creation. What a terrifying Su Xianren. Many people felt goosebumps all over their bodies. Even their hearts couldn't take it. They saw the iron staff crush the heaven and earth until it was covered in pitch-black cracks, as if the world was about to collapse. He actually temporarily resisted the might of the four young supreme beings. This was already enough to be exceptional and stunning. Of course, no matter how powerful Su Yan was, he would not be able to withstand the combined force of the four supreme youths. The gigantic sky-supporting pillar finally shattered in the illusion, and the immortal iron rod that was clashing with the four forces violently trembled. Boundless power attacked. Su Yan couldn't resist it and flew out horizontally. A string of bloody light blossomed in the void. This was the blood that spurted out from Su Yan's pores. Long, the world completely changed. Killing intent filled the sky. The four terrifying figures attacked murderously, easily tearing apart space and time. The sky was filled with heavenly deity energy, visible to the naked eye. They were about to chase up and suppress Su Yan forever. Retreat. Zhu Tian's pupils suddenly widened in anger. He sensed a fatal threat, roaring loudly to warn. He had a bad premonition. Actually, from the very beginning, when Su Yan challenged the four of them, Zhu Tian already felt that Su Yan was playing some tricks. Sure enough, he still discovered it, but he discovered it a bit too late. Emperor Nan and the other two also sensed something was wrong, but just when they wanted to quickly retreat. The place where the four experts were in the sky had completely changed. Everyone seemed to see the Milky Way from the nine heavens descending, the starry sky sinking, and the stars of the universe descending from the sky. Along with this, one after another, tattered war flags appeared in the void. They released an extremely bitter, killing intent. Under the dumbfounded gaze of everyone present, a fat creature drilled out of the void, with 18 tattered flags on its back. A total of 10 flags had already flown out, and they were still flying out. For little grandsons, let Grandpa Baokai give you some pointers in your cultivation. Tai Baokai bared its teeth, giving the surrounding experts a big fright. They stuttered, not knowing what to say. Moreover, these 18 flags were flying in the sky, their auras intertwining together. The aura of the purgatory of gods and demons filled the entire place, cutting off space and time, sealing off the entire place. The group of people was scared silly. Where did the reinforcements run to? What was the origin of this creature with 2 dark circles under its eyes? The words it said were too cruel. It wanted to give pointers to the 4 young supremes. Everyone felt that the Baokai wasn't crazy, but they had already gone crazy. However, the killing array it had set up was extremely terrifying. The 18 tattered flags were bathed in blood-red light, as if they had evolved into 18 different regions. Boom! Finally, a blood-red light bloomed. Ray after ray of resplendent blood-red light surged out, cutting through space and piercing through the stars of the universe floating in the starry sky. This was the sign of a peak killing array being activated, causing chaos and panic. 9 Heavens, Divine Sovereign. Chapter 1047. In the distant world, a bloody light covered the sun. The 18 tattered banners seemed to be incomplete, but these 18 banners contained a fiendish aura that could slaughter gods. They could easily exterminate experts. The flags glowed on their own, and the broken flags fluttered in the wind. They danced in the wind and formed a bloody hell. Even the broken sky was dyed red. Activate the killing array. Someone's voice was trembling. They were so far away, but they were already panicking. The 18 broken flags were too powerful. When they spun, they formed a bloody gale that could destroy the world. The moment it spun, it could even tear apart the bodies of gods and demons. B** starred, this is too shameless. The Ancestral Hall's senior statesman's face was gloomy. He didn't expect Tai Baokai to suddenly appear and use a set of killing weapons to trap the 4 young experts. Although he didn't know where this killing weapon came from, why did he feel that it was the same series of secret treasures as the Ancestral Hall's supreme war flag? However, the Ancestral Hall's senior statesman called them shameless. Some people despised them from the bottom of their hearts. F***CK. The 4 young experts teamed up against Su Yin. You guys are shameless enough. How can you call Su Yin shameless when he only has 1 helper? Who's the shameless one here? Don't you know? The strong cultivators of the 9 Yang sect looked gloomy. The 18 banners danced in the air and created a blood-red storm. Bolts after bolts of blood-red lightning bolts could easily pierce through a strong cultivator's body. The situation was a little dangerous. No one expected Su Yin to have helpers. Roar! The 4 young experts roared in anger. After all, the situation was too sudden. The bloody gale surged in the sky, and everyone's face changed. They really felt that their bodies were going to turn into pus and blood. Let's work together and break through. The 4 experts took out their life treasures and pushed their battle prowess to the limit. The 4 of them worked together and formed 4 layers of energy ripples to resist the bloody gale. However, when the bloody gale surged in, the 4 layers of energy ripples were riddled with holes. The murderous energy flooded the sky, and the 4 experts felt as if they had fallen into purgatory. This bloody light was terrifying and special. It could destroy a person's body and even injure the primordial spirit. If it wasn't for the 4 experts' life treasures, they would have been severely injured. Small fry. Tai Baotsai's big ears perked up, and his fat face turned solemn. Back when Yi Yuan and the other two were exploring the universe's secret realm, they were trapped by the 18 broken war flags. It was a narrow escape. They had exhausted their life force and spent 10 days and 10 nights before they could break open the tattered battle flag. Of course, at that time, Tai Baokai and the other two were still at the deity domain realm. There was a huge gap in their combat strength, but even so, they weren't weak. Yet, Zhu Tian and the other three were able to stand firm under the siege of the tattered war banner. "Let's work together." The four young overlords roared angrily. They never thought that Su Yin would have reinforcements. What kind of situation was this? There were still people who dared to stand out and help when they were faced with certain death. The four experts wielded their life, heavenly weapons, and released the strongest source of energy. The energy swept across the land and shook the 18 war flags. Wang. Su Yin instantly pulled out his immortal iron rod and pointed it at Yang Xiong from afar. A shocking thunderbolt struck horizontally and smashed towards Yang Xiong's golden battle spear. The two weapons clashed and shattered the void. Sun Dome's golden war spear was vibrating, and even his arm was bent. Sun Dome let out an angry roar because the bloody light engulfed Sun Dome. Damn it! The experts of the Nine Yang sect were furious. They were worried about Sun Dome's situation. Blood bloomed where Sun Dome was. The dense bloody light wanted to tear apart Sun Dome's body. At the critical moment, he used the origin of the flame of primal chaos to burn the bloody light. People could see some holes in Sun Dome's body. Even his flesh was showing signs of rotting. "Let's work together and kill our way out." Sun Dome sensed the danger. He was really worried that someone else would join in and kill them with Su Xianren. Kill! The four experts wouldn't sit still and wait for death. They wielded their four life treasures and slashed forward. The area covered by the bloody light exploded. The power of millions of heavenly weapons swept across the 18 war flags. "You bastard, you're finally here. Wait until I kill my way out. I'll skin you alive." The North Beast's furious voice sounded. He stared at Tai Baokai with his cold eyes. The banners of demons were on him. As long as he could kill Tai Baokai, the Beast region would be unified. Then, he would lead the entire Beast region and become the new king of beasts. Tai Baotsai's expression was cold. He didn't say a word. He was determined to teach the North Beast a bloody lesson. The four young overlords attacked in the same direction. They wanted to work together to break the formation. The tattered war flags fluttered and were about to break at any moment. However, just as the four experts' auras were unleashed to the maximum and attacked the killing formation with all their might, a dazzling brilliance was born, accompanied by a terrifying destructive power, causing the void to explode. "Oh my God, someone else is joining in. Where do they come from? Why haven't I heard that Su Yin has a group of sworn brothers?" Many people exclaimed. There were still people joining in. At this juncture, if they weren't sworn brothers, who would dare to come and help Su Yin? The person who joined in was even more domineering. A figure soared into the sky. His hair was messy, and his martial arts aura covered the sky. He was like a peerless martial god. His bronze body was so majestic that it seemed to fill the sea of stars. Yi Yuan's body was like a bow of slaughter, and his back was like a dancing dragon. Even though he didn't say a single word, he used his martial prowess to propel the diagram of the great Tao that covered the sky, and he launched a terrifying storm of attacks at Emperor Nan. Yi Yuan possessed a type of great might and boldness, and every single move he made was heavy like the heavens. On the other hand, Emperor Nin shook the 9 heavens like a young emperor. His aura was different from Yi Yuan's. However, the battle between the two was like a battle between a demon king and an emperor. It was shocking. Who is that? I've never heard of him fighting against Emperor Nan's spiritual force field. The crowd turned pale. They were surprised and shocked. After all, in the current situation, who would dare to help Su Yin? But now, 2 people had stepped out. However, when the third person stepped out, the atmosphere of the entire place was extremely heated. A supreme aura appeared. It was as if a golden supreme was born at the top of the sky. His mighty body was as tall as the sun, the moon, and the stars. The crowd turned pale. The faces of the experts paled. A supreme physique had appeared, choosing to join forces with vicious Sue. Immeasurable, immeasurable, immeasurable. There was also a deafening sound. It was like the sound of gods and demons. It was like the supreme heavenly sound of the great Tao that crossed over from prehistoric times. It made people's souls tremble. The immeasurable sound appeared and rumbled. It crushed the void and made it tremble. It was a terrifying scene. It was as if the sky was collapsing. Immeasurable sound waves filled the sky and rolled over, suppressing all living things. In an instant, it blocked the sound of the Qilin. Vaguely, it formed a turbulent pattern of an immeasurable sea. What kind of physique is that? Everyone was speechless. A supreme physique stood out and attacked the North Goblin. He suppressed the Qilin's sound waves. It was as if an immeasurable sea was born. It could suppress all things in the world, boundless and without boundaries. Everyone was terrified. Tai Baokai was in charge of the 18 tattered battle flags. Zhang Liang was in charge of keeping the North Demon in check, and Yi Yuan was bold enough to compete with the South Emperor. Ha ha! Su Yan looked up to the sky and laughed. His messy hair fluttered. He was excited and gratified. He also had the mentality of going all out. 3 of his life and death brothers were here. The experts outside saw this scene through the Bone Realm. Some were shocked, some relaxed, and some looked gloomy. No wonder Su Yin angered the 4 supreme youths. It turned out that he had teammates. But at this time, 3 supreme youths stood out to help him. This made the older generation sigh. Furthermore, Su Yan's helpers were a little scary. Some even suspected that they were related to the buried region race. But if they were from the same lineage, young overlords would come out one after another. This was a little too abnormal. The experts of the ancestral hall were gloomy. Could it be that the buried region race, which had been declining for many eras, was going to awaken in this era? Everyone knew that the future belonged to the younger generation. As long as they didn't die, they might be able to reverse the situation of the buried region race in the future and regain their glory. Fight for me. Tai Baotsai's low voice exploded, causing all the cultivators to go crazy. What do they see? 4 supreme youths working together against 4 supreme youths. Although Tai Baokai didn't make a move, the 18 tattered battle flags could suppress their battle strength. Yi Yuan and the others had an absolute advantage. Ha ha! Let's fight to our heart's content today. Yi Yuan and Tensor laughed. Their eyes locked onto their opponents. They released their most ferocious battle strength and attacked forward. Wong! Su Yan's figure soared across the sky and stepped into the bloody purgatory. Dawn! A dazzling fist appeared, and a terrifying star started rotating within it. It was majestic and shocking. Su Yan raised his fist and smashed it down, carrying a wild and domineering aura. This fist went straight for Sun Dome's face. It rippled with a mighty force that could penetrate the starry sky and was filled with heavenly might. 9 suns, Sun Dome's body ignited, and 9 suns revolve around him. He released his strongest power as soon as he attacked. This was the power of 9 suns locking heaven, a heavenly secret technique of the 9 sun star region. Once released, 9 suns would fill the sky and burn everything. The 2 fists collided, and a loud explosion sounded. However, how valiant was Su Yan. He released his terrifying divine power, accompanied by the rich power of the primal chaos source Qi. Sun Dome's body trembled under the pressure. His blood and Qi churned, and blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. Sun Dome was shocked. This was his first time fighting with Su Yan. He didn't expect his divine power to be so domineering. The pressure made his body unstable. Su Yan's other hand even held an immortal iron staff and swung it at Zhu Tian. Everyone was shocked. Su Yan was attacking 2 young paragons at the same time. Moreover, he had the absolute advantage. His moves were bold and full of the domineering aura of a god fiend as he pressed forward. Kill! Su Yan roared and released his most powerful battle strength. He wanted to kill one of them. Otherwise, it would be a waste of this ferocious formation. Author's note: something came up at the last minute. It's hard to update today. I've been updating this week. I'm just short of one more update. I promised to finish the update at the end of the month tomorrow. I'm just short of one to make up for 3. F***CK. If I can't finish the mission tomorrow, I'm just short of 3 to make up for 10. Clear Sky is here to prove it. All readers are watching. Chapter 1048. Zhu Tian roared furiously. While resisting the destructive power of the bloody purgatory, his body glowed as he swung the blood-colored halberd into the sky. Clang! Clang! Su Yan was exceptionally valiant. As he clashed with Sun Dome, he swung the immortal iron rod at Zhu Tian. The immortal iron rod, with immense pressure, instantly collided with the blood-colored halberd. Sparks flew in all directions as the two heavenly weapons clashed. The divine sound caused everyone's eardrums to tremble. It was difficult to imagine just how powerful their attacks were. Moreover, the two vicious weapons glowed as they continued to clash and crush each other. All kinds of divine ability, runes filled the air. At this time, Sun Dome's aura rose sharply. Flames of primal chaos gushed out from his body, burning the bloody light in the sky until it exploded. The fists he brandished were even more blazing, 9 suns suppressing the heavens. Sun Dome roared as he used his race's secret technique, the power of 9 suns. Once the 9 suns appeared, they would burn all enemies in the world. However, Sun Dome now had the help of the primal chaos flame. The 9 suns were blazing to the extreme and could easily burn mountains and boil seas. These 9 huge suns glowed and surged out along with his fists, rushing towards Su Yan's fists. At the same time, Zhu Tian also took the opportunity to launch an attack. Although part of their battle strength was suppressed by the 18 tattered banners, their battle prowess was still world-shocking. The halberd swept through the sky and surged with bloody light. It was like a demonic weapon gushing out from the earth as it tried to knock away Su Yan's immortal iron rod. Ah! Su Yan roared at the sky. His messy hair danced wildly as his golden eyes blossomed with divine light. Suddenly, everyone seemed to see a young overlord who could split the world apart. He looked down on his peers and emitted a kind of great might. It was a kind of invincible aura. He was majestic and imposing. His arms glowed as he circulated his strongest battle strength. A terrifying domain power was released, and a terrifying demonic aura surged. Kill! Su Yan's eyes emitted a divine radiance. His fist was surrounded by beams of starry river light. This strike was heavy and ferocious. Within a short period of light, a majestic comet was born. It hung between heaven and earth, rumbling as it rotated. It opened up the Big Dipper and looked down on everything. Boom! Violent explosions were born, stars and the sun collided, in a storm that was enough to destroy the heavens, and the earth swept through the land. The two great heavenly secret techniques collided, and energy waves surged. This was a shocking scene. The sun and stars fell together, and the suffocating, killing intent of a supreme being blossomed, startling all creatures. They saw the two great overlords fighting a bloody battle. It had to be said that Sun Dome was much stronger than King Flash. After all, he had obtained the origin of the flame of primal chaos. In addition, Sun Dome himself was extremely strong. The power of the 9 suns he could unleash was indeed shocking. However, it was a pity that Sun Dome encountered Su Yan. Similarly, he encountered the tyrannical Su Yan while his battle prowess was damaged. This fist finally pierced through the 9 great suns. This fist bombarded Sun Dome until his entire fist cracked. His arm bent and began to rupture, revealing the dense white bones. This was a scene that was enough to make people panic. How was this possible? Even the great figures of the Nine Yang sect felt their scalps go numb. Their hearts were filled with shock. Sun Dome was actually inferior to Su Xianren. This was a bloody fact. Sun Dome was suppressed by Su Yan. He roared in anger, and the shattered power of the 9 suns converged again. He suppressed the chaotic fluctuations of the blood essence in his body and reformed the powerful domain. However, Su Yin still managed to injure Sun Dome with a single fist. This shocked all the experts gathered here. Su Yin had injured Sun Dome while attacking two supreme beings at the same time. No wonder the 10 heroes were killed. Su Xianren's battle prowess is superb. He has the battle prowess to kill the young overlords. The gods were shocked. They had once again underestimated Su Xianren's battle prowess. He definitely had absolute battle prowess and did not fear any of the young overlords. No matter how strong they were, he could still contend with them. In fact, from Su Yan's battle against Zhu Tian, Su Yan's powerful domain could be seen. This should be the limit of Su Yan's battle prowess. It was truly shocking. Where did these two come from? They are equally strong. They can actually contend with the supreme beings. Although the North Demon and the South Emperor's battle prowess were suppressed by the killing formation, these two are definitely extraordinary geniuses. They can contend with the two supreme beings. This battle had far exceeded their expectations. It caused a huge commotion and attracted the attention of all the pinnacle races. It was as if they were witnessing the birth of a group with the attitude of conquering the world. They could sweep through any secret realm in the universe. Immeasurable, immeasurable. The boundless aura continued to resound. The first supreme body appeared out of nowhere. Immeasurable, it was as if a golden furnace was burning. Waves of golden ripples surged out and suppressed the North Demon continuously. Bao Kai and the others were clear that with the battle prowess of Tensor and the others, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to kill the North Demon, whose battle prowess was suppressed. Now, they were besieging the four supreme beings. They would only be able to kill them after they had exhausted themselves to a certain extent. After all, each of the supreme beings had a monstrous foundation. It was too difficult to kill them. Who the hell is he? Could it be that they were from the Buried Regions clan? After all, who would dare to stand out at this time? Yeah, the Sealed Heaven region has already announced that they will make sure that Su Yin has no way to survive in this world. Whoever dares to shelter or help him will be killed by the entire clan. The battle between the South Emperor and Yi Yuan also attracted attention. It was a face-to-face physical battle. Yi Yuan was tall and majestic. He had a domineering aura of martial arts. He was known as the martial god on earth. His spirit and willpower were courageous, and he would never retreat. Now, Yi Yuan had matured and was locked in a stalemate with the South Emperor. The difference in their auras was huge. One was a wild martial god, while the other was a majestic young emperor. On the other hand, Tai Baokai was rarely noticed. After all, it was holding a tattered battle flag. People thought that Tai Baokai was a formation master. Tensor and the others knew that Baokai was the strongest and the most evil when they went to the secret land of the universe. The current situation had not reached the moment of life and death. They needed to conserve their strength and see if there was anyone else who stood out. I have kind of shock. Su Yin gathered a group of brothers who have been through life and death together to fight the four young supremes. This rallying power is too shocking. Many people were speechless. In one's lifetime, it was enough to have a life and death brother who treated one another with absolute sincerity. However, the three experts that Su Yin had gathered were all existences who were at the peak of their generation. The eyes of Su Yan's enemies turned red. If they really let Su Yin escape, he could lead the three supreme beings and go on a rampage. He could completely dominate the secret land of the universe, secretly strengthen himself, and grow rapidly. Kill. The battle was tragic. The seven supreme beings launched an earth-shattering collision. The sky and earth lost their color, the sun and moon lost their light, and even time and space were shaken. There was also a terrifying airflow that leaked out like a group of fierce dragons. Resplendent energy waves swept out in all directions, shaking the sky and earth. The mountains and rivers rumbled. Pooh! Some deities could not withstand this energy storm. They were shaken to the point of retreating and coughing up blood. They were all shocked. They could not withstand this battle at all. The seven supreme beings roared and spilled their essence blood, causing the sky and earth to collapse. Leave quickly. Many people had a headache. In the area where they were fighting, the energy waves became more and more terrifying. It even formed a terrifying astronomical phenomenon. That was the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. All kinds of chaotic light mixed together, forming a bloody storm that pierced through the heavens, faintly reaching the peak of the universe. Vaguely, there was an abnormally deep fluctuation. This aura made everyone panic. It was unbearable, as if the sky was about to collapse and all living things were about to be destroyed. Damn it, this is the critical moment. Nothing big can happen. Bao Kai stood up fiercely and raised his head with a serious expression. The sky was really about to be pierced through by them. If this continues, we will all die here. Emperor Nin shouted coldly. His essence blood spread out and emitted a dragon's might. His expression was somewhat gloomy as he constantly paid attention to the source of the mountains. Too many people rushed in, and the number of deaths was immeasurable. Blood was about to dye the mountains red. There were also people who rushed into the source area, and a bloody battle broke out. There were almost people close to the reincarnation fruit. He, Emperor Nan, was determined to obtain the reincarnation fruit. The other things were not that important. The seven great cultivators could all feel that the sky was about to collapse. If they continued fighting, this place would really collapse and not be able to withstand their battle. At that time, the universe would be densely filled with cracks, and the possibility of death would be great. Get out if you are afraid of death. Don't provoke us. Yuan roared angrily. This voice made the onlookers' hair stand on end. So this was a group of lunatics. They didn't care if the sky collapsed and wanted to fight. Let's see who will die first. Emperor Nan's eyes were wide open. His body was surrounded by rolling imperial dragon aura. He was like an imperial divine furnace burning with life essence as he charged toward Yuan. The battle was once again violent. Sundome and the others were a little anxious. They were really worried that the sky would collapse and wanted to finish off their opponents as soon as possible. To them, it was not worth it to fight to the death with Su Yin and the others. There was not much hatred between them. They only wanted to fight to the death. But the battle had lasted for so long, and they had suffered great losses. But Su Yin was completely fine. No one knew that he had sealed his body and only used a humanoid puppet. As long as there was enough chaos treasure liquid, Su Yin could fight endlessly. Zhu Tian, give me your life. Su Yin let out a roar. He leaped up and punched Zhu Tian with dazzling fists. Sundome rushed forward with red eyes. He felt that Su Yin had ignored him from the beginning. This made him feel very humiliated. He used all his strength to attack Su Yan's back. It's time to end this. Zhu Tian did not want to continue fighting. He was prepared to use his ultimate move to strangle Su Yin with Zhu Tian's mark. However, Su Yin, who was full of energy, was about to collide with him. Who knew that Su Yin would suddenly disappear? I think something big is going to happen. Under the trembling eyes of everyone present, Su Xianren turned back and rushed toward Sundome like a dragon returning to the sea. Su Yin, do you think I can't stop you? You're too arrogant. Sundome's body glowed. 9 suns revolve around him and evolved into the 9 suns locking the sky pattern. They pushed the chaos heavenly fire that filled the sky and surged toward Su Yan's pouncing figure. Give me your life. Su Yan's eyes were like lightning. His fist was unparalleled as he circulated his most powerful strength. A primal chaos sea rose behind him, causing the sky to darken. A terrifying aura overflowed, causing many of the surrounding spectators to fall weakly to the ground. Domain. Su Xianren has cultivated a domain. The experts trembled and felt their scalps go numb. Something big was going to happen. Su Xianren still had a trick up his sleeve. He used the chaotic origin chi to construct a domain that emitted the divine might of the great Tao. With a peerless stance, he suppressed Sundome's 9 suns' power. There was even a fist surrounded by lightning that rushed over. It faintly revealed the light of calamity and emitted a divine might that could destroy the world. Divine King's domain, lightning of the heavens. Sundome's expression changed drastically. There was a kind of fear in his heart. It was extremely difficult for him to block. This fist pierced through the void and caused his chest to cave in. Blood spurted out from his back. Kill! Su Yan roared and rushed forward to kill Sundome. Chapter 1049. Sundome let out a sorrowful roar as his chest collapsed. Su Yan's fist surged with the light of heaven tribulation and was full of destructive energy. Even his strong body could not withstand it, and blood spurted out from his back. Many people were scared silly. Nanyang Sek Sundome, a young overlord who had fused with the origin of the flame of chaos, almost had his chest pierced by Su Yan. Of course, his current injuries were severe enough. Who would have thought that Su Yan had initially constructed a domain and had already begun to explore the path of the godly king? In particular, the power of the myriad Tao that was contained in the eye of the chaos, surged with the aura of the beginning of all things, directly suppressing the power of the nine suns. Sundome. The scene in the Bone Realm caused the expressions of the Nanyang Sek's experts to change drastically as their hearts sank. Back then, King Flash had almost been crippled by Su Yan, and the Divine Firmament sect had no choice but to ransom him. But until now, King Flash had not even taken half a step out of the crowd. The outside world said that King Flash's spirit and fighting spirit had been beaten so badly by Su Yan that he could not lift his head and did not dare to come out again. At this time, they were really worried that Sundome's fate would be the same as King Flash's. After all, Su Yan had grasped his domain and had great courage to suppress strong enemies. Boom! Zhu Tian's face darkened as he swooped down. He wanted to stop Su Yan. If Sundome was killed by Su Yan, he would feel ashamed. Moreover, he still had to fight for the reincarnation fruit, so Sundome could not die now. Swish! Swish! In an instant, the bloody purgatory's aura changed. The 18 tattered battle flags left their original space-time and charged toward Zhu Tian with the ferocious energy contained in the array formation. His path was directly cut off. The 18 tattered battle flags were controlled by Bao Kai and turned into 18 blood-colored heavenly spears to attack Zhu Tian. In a short period of time, the entire place had gone berserk. The situation of the battle had been reversed, and there were also people who had seen through it. All of the hair on their bodies stood on end, and there was a trace of fear in their hearts. Reality was just this cruel. Now, they were going to kill a young paragon who had the support of a peak clan. As for the South Emperor and the North Fae, they went completely berserk. Without the suppression of the blood purgatory, their auras began to surge. They roared furiously, and their furious auras temporarily suppressed the two powerful enemies. At the same time, they also wanted to help Sundome. If the four great powerhouses had fought against Su Yan's group, then the death of the Sundome would have been a disgrace to them. Kill! Tensor and Yuan let out an explosive roar. They released their strongest source of life and evolved their most valiant great divine abilities to obstruct the two great powerhouses. They were facing the North Fae and the South Emperor. The two had broken free, and their auras surged like two invincible kings awakening. The North Fae let out a loud roar, and a Qilin appeared behind him. It roared as it swallowed the moon. Rolling purple ripples shattered the boundless sound waves that filled the sky. Immeasurable, immeasurable. Tensor's expression was solemn, and his body seemed to have dissolved, revealing the might of a paragon. A terrifying paragon source energy was released by him, and it seemed to have crossed over from another time and space. It was a vast ocean that was difficult to trace its source, and it surged violently and split the sky. Immeasurable body. A great figure's expression changed, and he exclaimed, "This is the immeasurable body that has been lost for a long time. When cultivated to the peak, one's magic power is boundless, and they possess immeasurable divine might that is difficult to measure." Tensor was like a madman, and he released his source energy to obstruct the North Fae, buying precious time for Su Yan. when a beam of golden holy light that could tear people's eyes apart shot out. Many people's eyes turned black, and their eyeballs were about to bleed from the burning radiance. What kind of technique is that? The great figures who were watching the battle from the outside could not calm down. Moreover, they were wondering if this was the peerless genius hidden by the burial region. The martial god rose from the ground, and his body was like a murderous weapon. His back danced, and he was like a swimming dragon dancing between heaven and earth. At this moment, Yuan was majestic and domineering, and he had the momentum of a raging bull. His corporeal body had completely changed, and it was as if he was formed from endless great Tao diagrams. The Tao and magic above, savage mountain bloomed, and the might of a raging bull surged. As it gushed out, the surroundings rumbled, and the sun and moon trembled. A ray of terrifying divine radiance reappeared, causing the experts who were rushing over from afar to tremble. What an astonishing expert! What kind of secret technique is this? I've never heard of it before. Many people were stunned. Yuan's body was like a heavenly bow, and his back was like a bowstring. He used his body as a weapon, and he turned into a huge golden bow. Behind him, a vision of sun that could explode the 9 heavens appeared. Xiao. The sky was filled with golden arrow radiance, and they surged towards Emperor Nan. Every arrow radiance could tear apart the dome of heaven. The battle had reached a certain limit. Tensor and Yuan used their strongest innate secret techniques to obstruct Emperor Nan and the North Demon. Similarly, Zutan, who was in the ancestral hall, was blocked by the blood-colored spears formed from the 18 tattered battle flags. The 3 great experts were trapped, and many people were terrified. They could see the intention of these people. They wanted to buy time for Su Yin. The battle in front of them was tragic. Sun Dome let out a loud roar, and his blood-stained corporeal body burned. His body turned blurry, and he turned into a ball of chaotic heavenly fire. Faintly, he emitted the fluctuations of a forbidden secret technique. Su Yin, do you think I can't stop you? Sun Dome was putting his life on the line. His race's heavenly technique was activated, and his body was burning with flames. He forcibly blocked Su Yan's blurry domain power. He turned into a ball of chaotic fire, burning fiercely and filled with an eternal aura. Su Yan's ferocious strength was peerless. In a short period of time, his life force recovered to the extreme. It was an extremely shocking scene. The world seemed to have turned into a kingdom of thunder and lightning. Thick bolts of lightning fell from the sky, cracking the mountains and the earth. Su Yin pushed the great stars in the sky forward. His aura surged, and his long hair danced in the wind. The aura of the gods and demons on his body was intimidating. Kill! Su Yin roared. His aura was too terrifying. His roar caused the heroes to tremble, and the tens of thousands of blood-stained black mountains faintly shook. He was like a burning, immortal furnace of the great Tao. He was wild and domineering. His moves were grand, suppressing forward. It was a scene of heaven and earth collapsing. The 2 ultimate techniques of the heavens were released in Su Yan's body, and they seemed to be fusing with Su Yan's beginning sutra. For a moment, the light of calamity was rippling, and it made all living beings in the universe tremble. Impossible! Sun Dome shouted in grief. How could Su Yin master the light of calamity? It was the secret technique of the heavens, of the divine firmament star area. And how could he merge the 2 secret techniques of the heavens? What kind of heaven-defying scene was this? Everything came from the beginning sutra, from the beginning profound. The divine power between heaven and earth boiled. Su Yin did his best to erupt and unleash his most powerful killing techniques. He slashed again and again. Sun Dome's flesh was torn open, and blood splashed everywhere. This young paragon couldn't withstand it, and his body was about to explode. At this point in the battle, Sun Dome could be said to have used all his trump cards. At this final moment, he released the Nine Yang Star Area's origin Great Tao imprint. His entire body seemed to have turned into the vast Nine-Yang star area and started a terrifying collision. It was very difficult to fight such a peerless Ingjie to death. Sundome was already risking his life. He didn't hesitate to exhaust his own potential to block the crazy Su Yin. Rumble. The deafening sound filled the sky. It was as if two great space-time countries had collided. It was surging and splitting the sky. It was as if the heavens were collapsing. A blurry crack in the universe appeared. Oh my God! Everyone was frightened. A corner of the universe was already collapsing. A suffocating aura filled the entire place. This corner of the reincarnation universe was really going to be destroyed. But the battle was still going on. In just a few breaths, they had collided more than 100 times. People saw the blurry Nine-Yang star area being riddled with holes by lightning. All kinds of stars in the universe were rotating, destroying the world. Bam! The final result was hair-raising. There were already many cracks in the universe. In the end, their auras still caused a corner of the universe to collapse. PFFF. Sundome's body was bleeding. It was as if he had exploded and was swallowed by the crack in the universe. Originally, everyone thought that Su Yin would also be swallowed by the crack in the universe. The outcome was shocking. Su Yin used Earth shrinking and streaked across the shattered crack in the universe. He traveled through space-time and actually dodged it. Su Yin panted heavily. There was a kind of weakness and also a kind of pity. At the crucial moment, Sundome didn't fully release the origin Great Tao imprint of the Nine-Yang star area. He originally wanted to plunder the Nine-Yang star area's origin Great Tao imprint and perfect his origin Great Tao imprint. Unfortunately, Sundome was swallowed by the crack in the universe. Everyone was in an uproar. Could it be that the peak hero of the generation, Sundome, was torn apart by the crack in the universe? No one could say for sure. Maybe Sundome was still alive, or maybe he was already dead. In any case, Sundome's crushing defeat was a fact. He was beaten up by Su Yin. If the crack in the universe hadn't appeared, Su Yin would definitely have killed Sundome. The people of the Nine-Yang sect were silent. Even the big shots didn't say a word. There were also experts of the sect who sighed. Sundome's crushing defeat was a fact, a bloody fact. Many people felt complicated. Su Yin was already an invincible young overlord. He was no longer the small cultivator of the past. This battle was enough to prove Su Yan's peerless battle strength. Next, Su Yan's expression changed. He looked at the source of the reincarnation fruit that was surrounded by thousands of mountains. The phenomenon of the reincarnation fruit blooming was enough to shock the world. Even the 6 fruits were automatically emitting the light of the great Tao of reincarnation, showing signs of ripening. At this time, Emperor Nan and the others gave up on hunting Su Yin. They rushed into the blood-stained mountains to fight for the reincarnation fruits. The reincarnation fruits are about to ripen. This was the most important event. Zhu Tian and the others had already given up on suppressing Su Yin. They rushed directly into the blood-stained mountains to fight for the reincarnation fruits. Countless experts followed suit. This kind of opportunity was right in front of them. If they missed it, they would regret it for 10,000 years. Let's go and take a look too. Although the road ahead was dangerous, the reincarnation fruits had to be obtained. Su Yin was prepared to join forces with Bao Kai and the others to kill their way in. They had to do their best to obtain a few fruits. Su Yin. Suddenly, a shadow emerged from the horizon. Before the person arrived, the heaven-suppressing aura had already surged over. The heaven-suppressing battle god had arrived. He stared at Qinmu with a pair of cold eyes and shouted, "In the battle back then, you despicably used a human-shaped puppet to injure me. Now I'm here. Come, let's fight to the death." The heaven-suppressing battle god had just recovered from his injuries in the Tao Palace. He rushed over just to deal with Su Yin and avenge his previous humiliation. "Who are you?" Tai Baokai roared with a fierce face. "I think you're out of your mind." The heaven-suppressing battle god's face was gloomy. He stared at the 3 of them coldly and said, "3 pieces of trash. Can't you see the situation clearly? I think it's better to kill the 3 of you first." The surrounding people were dumbfounded. They wanted to say, O heaven-suppressing battle god, do you know what happened just now? Author's note: I'll update 2 chapters first. Brothers, today is the first. Chapter 1050. Su Yin, Yuan, Tai Bao Kai, and Tensor. The 4 young experts stood between the heavens and earth, attracting everyone's attention. This combination, many people panicked. It was as if they had seen an invincible combination. Some of the leaders of the clans were also panicking. This combination could ignore the danger and rush over in a hopeless situation. It was clear that they were a group of young overlords who were not afraid of death. Even the leaders of the Ancestral Hall and the other clans had gloomy expressions. The 4 of them working together was enough to intimidate the various heavenly kings. Was there really anyone in this world who could destroy their combined might with just one person's strength? Not to mention the 3 of them. Just Su Yan's berserk state alone was enough to send Sun Dome into the cosmic rift. With his combat strength, he could be called a king among his peers. During these past few years, Yuan and the others had grown extremely swiftly, and they'd paid a sufficiently heavy price as well. The tempering of life and death for a few years had tempered them into experts that could look down arrogantly upon an area, and they could resist the attacks of all the kings in the world. But now, the Heaven Suppression Battle God had come and called them trash. Many people were dumbfounded. Some wanted to say that any one of them had peerless combat strength to fight with you, but you, who was the one who couldn't see the situation clearly? Heaven Suppression, this child. The experts of the Tao Church were anxious. Wasn't this courting death? The Heaven Suppression Battle God's potential was strong enough. If he really died because of this, it would be a huge joke. The Heaven Suppression Battle God was also eager for revenge. He didn't waste any time and rushed to his destination. He finally saw Su Yin, who was still alive. He was really worried that Su Yin had been killed by Zhu Tian and the others. He was the Heaven Suppression Battle God. After all, he had a supreme physique. He had invincible divine might and wasn't afraid of the heavenly kings. Ha ha ha. Tensor and the others burst into laughter. They didn't expect someone to interfere and be so arrogant. Although the Heaven Suppression Battle God was strong, in the eyes of Yuan and the others, he was no different from Sun Dome. What are you laughing at? The Heaven Suppressing Battle God's face suddenly sank. He frowned slightly as he felt that the atmosphere around him was a little strange. Normally, no matter where he was, he would be the center of attention and enjoy the evaluation of the world. But now he was surrounded by strange gazes. What was going on? Could it be that something big had happened before? What are you talking about? Didn't you want to kill us? Come on. The Tai Bao Kai stretched out its furry black claws and hooked its finger at the heaven-suppressing battle god. It said in a disdainful tone, "Let this beast god see how much weight you have. How dare you?" The Heaven Protector battle god was enraged. As a young overlord, how could he endure Tai Bao's disdain? However, just as he was about to charge forward, a disciple from the Tao Palace arrived and pulled on his sleeve. What he meant was, "Hurry up and leave. Don't embarrass yourself here." "What are you doing?" The heaven-suppressing battle god was not angry. He glared at the disciple who pulled his sleeve and scolded, "Unruly thing. Who allowed you to come here? Get down." "You." The Tao Palace disciple was a little annoyed. F*CK. I came here to warn you despite the risk, but you didn't appreciate it and even scolded me from above. You, the heaven-suppressing battle god, are indeed a peerless genius, but I'm not your subordinate, so I can't endure this. Seeing that the Tao Palace disciple turned around and left, the heaven-suppressing battle god was furious. He turned his head to look at the Tai Bao Kai and the others, only to find that the 3 of them were already coming over with evil intentions. You, the heaven-suppressing battle god's eyes suddenly shrank. He was sure that he had not come to the wrong place. But what was going on? Why did the 3 of them take the initiative to come over? Kiki. The Tai Bao Kai ran very fast. A cunning smile appeared on its fat and honest round face, giving the heaven-suppressing battle god a warning sign. Beat him. Suddenly, a figure jumped out from behind the 3 figures and swung the immortal iron staff at the heaven-suppressing battle god. In the blink of an eye, this place was completely boiling. It was as if a vast ocean had flooded the earth, and it had the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. One after another, the young experts erupted. The four invincible gods of war rampaged between heaven and earth, releasing the power to devour the heavens. Their roars shook the mountains, and their auras surged. No! In the face of this earth-shattering roar of divine power, the heaven-suppressing battle god's body trembled. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. All the hair on his body stood on end, and goosebumps appeared all over his body. He wanted to curse wildly. How could something so ridiculous happen? Where did Su Xianren gather 3 experts from? Moreover, each of their auras was more powerful than the other, and the 4 of them were attacking together. At this moment, the world seemed to see the 4 experts of Zhu Tian joining forces to suppress Su Yin with the power of their auras. But the contrast was so severe. Under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone present, the heaven-stabilizing battle god did not even have the courage to make a move. He turned around and ran as fast as he could. Compared to his previous high and mighty demeanor, the contrast was really too big. However, no matter how fast the heaven-suppressing battle god was, he could not escape the power of the domain released by the 4 experts. The sky exploded as a terrifying godly force descended from the sky and crushed the heaven protector war god's body, causing him to scream miserably. He was like a sandbag dancing in the air as blood gushed out from his nose and mouth. PFFF. The heaven-suppressing battle god was sent flying. His face was bruised and swollen, and he was in a terrible state. His teeth were all broken, and he fell to the ground like a dead dog, creating a huge pit. The surrounding people were stunned. One must know that this was the heaven-suppressing battle god, a supreme body of a generation. But the current scene made them speechless. Wasn't this too miserable? However, the heaven-suppressing battle god had provoked the 4 young overlords. Wasn't he courting death? He even said that Bao Kai and the other 2 were trash. The cruel reality had taught the heaven-suppressing battle god a bloody lesson. However, the raging storm didn't stop. The aura fields released by the 4 powerhouses once again rushed over. Their auras swept across the earth, overturning the mountains and rivers. The world was shaken by their auras and began to collapse. The heaven-suppressing battle god screamed miserably. His eyes were bloodshot. Why was he so miserable? Why was he so unlucky? The first time he made a move, he was beaten up by Su Yin with the help of the human-shaped puppet, which left him with a psychological trauma. However, the second time, he was directly suppressed by the joint forces of the 4 young overlords. Was there anyone in this world who could withstand it? Even his heaven-suppressing battle god was about to be crippled. This was a naked suppression without any fancy moves. It was a cruel blow. The surrounding cultivators really did not know what to say. Some people who admired Su Yin felt gratified. In the past, it was the experts who joined forces to deal with him. Now, the situation was reversed. Su Yin joined forces with the 3 young overlords to suppress the heaven-suppressing battle god. Boom! At the crucial moment, the heaven-suppressing battle god took out a golden talisman. This was a talisman refined by a powerful expert. It directly split open the space-time. He crawled up miserably and started to escape. The group was speechless. He was escaping just like that? He even used the boundary-breaking talisman refined by a powerful expert. The heaven-suppressing battle god ran with a limp. Blood kept flowing out from his mouth and nose. He was as miserable as he could be. He did not dare to stay for a moment longer. He was truly frightened. The aura of a king was gone. There was only one word in his heart. Run. Run as far as possible. He did not even want to face Su Yin again. This scene left a deep impression on the world. Even the influential figures of the various races in the outside world were tongue-tied. They were thinking, is this guy here to be funny? One had to admit that this supreme physique was really unlucky. Now, he only knew how to escape. He did not even look back. This guy did not know how to turn around and see that the 4 young overlords had no intention of chasing after him. There's no sense of accomplishment in killing a weakling. Balkai suddenly said in a low voice, "Preserve our strength and eliminate the North Demon. Killing him is our first priority." Yuan and the others nodded. They knew that they had to eliminate the North Demon. Once he stepped into the Divine King realm in the future, the Devil realm might be unified. They had to eliminate the North Demon before that happened. After all, the banners of demons were with Balkai. Once the North Demon ruled the Devil realm, the problem would be troublesome. The Devil realm might very well attack the Burial realm. Since all of you are here, the North Demon must be eliminated. Su Yan's eyes were like lightning. His golden pupils looked at the blood-stained myriad mountains. There were too many experts gathered here. The number of dead people was immeasurable. However, a large number of experts had already entered the source area. They did not dare to rashly approach the reincarnation fruit because it was not fully ripe yet. Even if they had the ability to pick it, the reincarnation fruit would be useless. They had to wait for it to ripen. The four experts did not say a word. They directly started across the myriad mountains. Su Yan knew that the reincarnation fruit was not that easy to obtain. However, this kind of opportunity was really enough for the experts to risk their lives to obtain it. When Su Yan approached the blood-stained myriad mountains, the fragrance of the flowers from the source area became even stronger. It was like a reincarnation incense was being lit. It gave off a vast and ancient aura. It also had a thick, prehistoric smell. It could easily bring all living things into the cycle of reincarnation. This was definitely the real thing. It cannot be faked. However, just as Su Yan was breathing here, the body-nurturing technique was quietly activated. Su Yan's aura changed. It was a little illusory, a little ethereal, a little blurry. However, a strange beam of light was rising from his sealed body. At this moment, Su Yan felt as if he had been dreaming for thousands of lifetimes. He felt as if he had followed his true self. He seemed to have returned to the past and found his lost origin. Vaguely, Su Yan felt a little terrifying. It was as if a slumbering, ancient life form was awakening. Yuan and the others were moved. They realized that Su Yan had changed a little. It was so terrifying that it made them panic. It was as if they were accompanied by a resurrected supreme being. Su Yan's lips trembled slightly. It was difficult for him to calm down. The body-nurturing technique was about to reach perfection. At the same time, the roots of his body were burning. It was as if a withered, ancient tree that had once left the soil was once again covered in the reincarnation soil and was about to grow strong. Su Yan's emotions surged. This was what he desired. At the same time, this also indicated that his path to becoming a heavenly god was finally about to begin. Chapter 10:51. At this moment, although Su Yan's body was still, it was emitting a faint radiance, accompanied by an unfathomable divine power, which made Yuan and the others feel uneasy. This kind of aura was faintly discernible and difficult to capture. However, they all sensed a shocking potential being released. This was a supreme state that wanted to penetrate the universe and merge with the heavenly Tao. From man to heaven, from the God realm to the heavenly God realm, this was a major hurdle on the path of cultivation, merging with the Tao, comprehending the changes of the universe's heavens. In terms of realm, the heavenly God realm was already a very impressive realm. No matter where they were, they belonged to the strong who ruled over a region. They were the rulers of the peak races. However, Yuan and the others were a little confused at this moment. Why did they sense an aura from Su Yan that wanted to penetrate the heavens? Was he still in the God realm? Su Yan, don't tell me you haven't entered the heavenly God realm yet. Tenser's gaze was extremely strange. The three of them had undergone cruel training in the incomplete universe for many years and finally broke through to the heavenly God realm. They had just entered the heavenly God realm and already had some understanding of this cultivation secret manual. However, how could they sense a cultivator who had penetrated the heavenly God realm from Su Yan? If this was spread out, no one would believe it. Su Yan could almost destroy Sundome just now. They were all overlords of the younger generation. If Su Yin was not in the heavenly god realm, this would make Sun Dome suffer. Hearing this, Su Yin said in a low voice, "Although I haven't entered the heavenly god realm, I have a human-shaped puppet. This puppet can make up for my lack of combat power." Hiss! Even Yi Yuan gasped, her face full of shock. She originally thought that after years of hard training in the universe's secret realm, she had caught up to Su Yan's cultivation realm. She did not expect the gap to grow bigger and bigger. Although Su Yan had borrowed external help, he was still not in the heavenly god realm. If Su Yan stepped into the heavenly deity realm, his battle prowess would definitely skyrocket, and he would definitely surpass them. Tensor and the others found this hard to believe. In truth, Su Yin could have attempted to break through to the heavenly god realm long ago. However, he had been suppressing it and searching for a second way to break through, until he met the prehistoric Big Brother and obtained the body nurturing technique. As long as he could cultivate the first level of the body nurturing technique to perfection, Su Yan's path to becoming a heavenly god would be opened. After waiting for such a long time, Su Yan finally saw hope. The appearance of the samsara fruit had allowed Su Yan's body nurturing technique to show signs of reaching perfection. As long as he could continue devouring the source power of the samsara fruit, he would be able to complete this most important step. "I saw that you released your potential just now. Was it because of the reincarnation fruit?" Yi Yuan stared at the reincarnation fruit. "That's right. I came here for the reincarnation fruit. Since all of you are here, I also have the confidence to fight for it." Su Yin nodded. The body-nurturing technique was miraculous and difficult to explain. The mysterious secret technique passed to him by the prehistoric Big Brother could even forcefully devour the source power of the reincarnation fruit, turning it into a beneficial source of energy for Su Yin. If news of this were to spread, who would dare to believe it? In short, the body-nurturing technique was truly earth-shattering. Tensor and the others had serious expressions. It was not that easy to fight for the reincarnation fruit. There were already many people gathered at the source of the reincarnation fruit. Among them, there were many powerhouses who dominated their generation. However, the good fortune was right in front of them. It was enough for them to pay a heavy price to obtain the reincarnation fruit. "Come, let's go take a look. No matter what, we have to take half of the reincarnation fruit." Enough people had died in these 10,000 blood-stained mountains. Between these 10,000 mountains, a bloody light steamed and filled the air with a bitter demonic aura. Even the sky was dyed red by the bloody light. This incomplete universe had existed for an extremely long time. Everyone felt that if the struggle for the reincarnation fruit really began, this incomplete universe would be directly destroyed. From the previous battle between Su Yin and the Sun Dome, it could be seen that this universe mystic realm could not hold on for much longer. It could not even maintain the struggle for supremacy between Empyrean gods. This world had already declined to the extreme. Arriving at the blood-stained mountain range, Su Yin looked at the entire layout of the domain. A treasure land that could nurture the reincarnation fruit was definitely not ordinary. However, this layout appeared ordinary in Su Yan's eyes. He couldn't see anything different about it. The more it was like this, the more cautious Su Yin became. The reincarnation fruit's ripening time was too sudden. He was really worried that there was a hidden trap. Even in the distant past, when the reincarnation fruit ripened, no one knew who had obtained the reincarnation fruit. Buzz! As Su Yin breathed in and out, his sealed body glowed. This was a kind of potential boiling. It was a little blurry and unreal, but it was extremely shocking. There was a hidden treasure in his body. Now that Su Yin had found the key, his body-nurturing technique would definitely be able to make up for Su Yan's deficiencies. Then, in the process of evolving from man to heaven, Su Yin would definitely be able to grow in the extreme state. Wisps of reincarnation energy gathered in his body. The process of seizing was a little slow. The main reason was that the reincarnation fruit was too strong, so the speed of absorption was greatly reduced. However, if he could continue absorbing like this, the creation was really amazing. Even if he couldn't obtain the complete reincarnation fruit, Su Yin would be one of the recipients. Even if there's really a trap, it's worth a try. Su Yin clenched his fists slightly and looked around with a pair of cold eyes. There were more than 10 young overlords gathered in the direction of source. There were even hundreds of powerful peak Empyrean gods. Although Yuan and the others were powerful, they didn't dare to be careless. However, they didn't dare to be careless. After all, their goal was the reincarnation fruits. The atmosphere here was a little cold. Everyone was silent, and some were secretly communicating with their primordial spirits. There were also many experts secretly working together. There were a total of 6 reincarnation fruits. It was impossible for one person to take all of them. Even if they took them out, the big shots in the outside world wouldn't let them leave with the reincarnation fruits easily. In this oppressive world, the sudden appearance of a group attracted a lot of attention. Even the young overlords looked gloomy, and fear appeared in their eyes. They couldn't forget how Su Yin blasted the Sun Dome. They even saw how the 4 of them worked together and forced the heaven-suppressing battle god to flee with a limp. How could they not be afraid of this group? If Su Yin and the other 3 joined in, they could at least snatch a few reincarnation fruits. Su Xianren is here. Many people looked as if they were facing a great enemy. They didn't want to provoke this ruthless person at all. They had to be careful if they really fought. Even the Sun Dome was sent into the universe cracked by him, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. It seems like some people shouldn't be here. A voice suddenly rang out, exploding in everyone's ears. The scene was chaotic. Everyone's eyes were focused on the 4 groups. There was no doubt that this person was talking about them. Su Yin didn't care. He was secretly devouring the source energy of the reincarnation fruits. Every breath was important to him. If he was really surrounded by enemies in the struggle for hegemony, Su Yin would choose to break through on the spot. He also wanted to see how powerful his own heavenly god, Thunder Tribulation, was. When Su Yin went through the heavenly tribulation of the Great Tao, it was really a narrow escape. He almost couldn't endure it. As for the heavenly god realm, there's also a heavenly tribulation. One had to endure the baptism of the universe's heavenly punishment. Of course, this time, Su Yin wanted to go through the tribulation in the reincarnation universe. Maybe it wouldn't attract the heavenly punishment that was difficult to pass. Previously, Bamboo Moon had told him some things about the heavenly tribulation. If he went through the tribulation in an extremely high-level universe secret land, he would get a lot of benefits. This benefit referred to the universe laws that existed in the universe secret land itself. Then, if he went through the tribulation in the reincarnation universe, he might attract an extremely heaven-defying great reincarnation tribulation. Haha, why don't you dare to speak? Su Xianren, do you have to mention my name? The powerhouse who secretly transmitted his voice with his primordial spirit sneered. Don't forget how this incomplete universe opened. The powerhouses of the sealing heaven domain are still guarding you outside. You've caused such a big trouble, but now you're acting like nothing happened. Don't you know that death is at hand? Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light. Tai Baokai suddenly stood up and looked at the crowd. He growled, "Who are the cowards? Stand out for Grandpa Baokai." "Shut up, you bastard." The man hiding in the dark said coldly, "Su Xianren, watch your dog. Don't bite people. And if you know what's good for you, get out of here. The reincarnation fruit is not something you can fight for. Otherwise, we'll join hands to kill you." Tai Baokai was so angry that his nose was almost crooked. He glared at the crowd and cursed, "Damn it, everyone here, he's really not my baby. My baby's mouth is not so vicious. He dares to scold me. He's definitely not my baby." The people around were a little confused. "You can have babies?" Tensor looked at Tai Baokai and scratched his head. "When did this happen? Why didn't I know you had a son? Where is my eldest nephew? Why don't you show him to me?" Do you still remember that Frost used to say that she wanted to catch Baokai and give birth to a house full of babies? Su Yin thought of something and laughed. Yuan, who was always mature, reached out his rough hand and touched Tai Baocai's big round head. He teased, "He's a precious breed. Do your best to give birth to a few more." The people around were stunned. They stared at the 4 of them, not knowing what to say. Tai Baokai was so angry that he almost fainted. He roared with a red face and neck. Your eldest nephew is unfilial. He secretly scolded his father. Help me teach him a lesson. Let him know how to be filial to his father. You bastard. The powerhouse who secretly transmitted his voice was so angry that he was about to explode and trembled. Su Yan's eyes widened in an instant. Cold lightning shot out from his eyes. At this moment, Su Yan's aura was terrifying. He was like a demon god in the sky, overlooking the crowd. Many people were scared to death. This was a demon king, a ruthless person. If he really went crazy, he even dared to kill the Sun Dome. Back in the great Tao City, Su Xianren killed two few powerhouses. A total of 5 powerhouses of the sealed heaven region had died. Bang! The void shattered. A palm pierced through, instantly suppressing over. Do you think I can't find you just because you're transmitting your voice in the dark? Su Yan's golden hand pressed down. Divine power surged and suppressed an older elder in an instant. The latter was also terrified. He didn't expect to be found by Su Yan. He fell to the ground and trembled. Su Yan, this is my old servant. A purple-robed man frowned. He stood out, his spirit abnormally strong. He vaguely emitted a kind of king's aura. The people around were shocked. This was Ma Iliang of the Ma family. The Ma family was an ancient clan in the chaotic ruins. There were powerhouses overseeing the clan. Ma Iliang was the strongest of the younger generation and was about to step into the divine king's realm. You even humiliated my friend. Who do you think you are? Su Yan's eyes shot out cold light. The golden hand pressed down, causing the old servant to tremble. He said in horror, Master, save me. Su Yan. Ma Iliang's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect Su Yan to ignore him. He stood out and stared at Su Yan. I'm Ma Iliang. You have to look at the master before beating a dog. He's my servant. His words were a bit excessive, but there's no need to target him like this, right? Bang! The golden hand smashed down and smashed the old servant into a bloody mist. Su Yan's long black hair draped over his shoulders. His eyes were like lightning. He was like a demon god standing tall in the night, causing the atmosphere to be extremely oppressive. There's more tonight. Brothers, please give me some monthly votes. Chapter 1052. No one would forget how Su Xianren got his special title. The tragic state of the sealing heaven region was still fresh in their minds. Even before that, he killed the 10 heroes of sealing heaven. How could ordinary people provoke such a ferocious person? Now that he attacked and directly destroyed a servant who spoke rudely to them, some people didn't think much of it. A servant dared to speak to Su Yan like that. He deserved to die. Some people felt that Su Yan was too overbearing. After all, he was an outsider and not a native of the Chaos Ruins. Ma Iliang was the strongest of the Ma family's younger generation. Their clan had powerful figures overseeing it. Ma Iliang had already stood out, but Su Yan still did it. Wasn't a bit too much, but his divine might really made the gods shiver. This person really didn't fear the kings of the world. Su Yan. Ma Iliang's eyes were wide open in anger. He pointed at Su Yan and his aura exploded. A vague king's aura was released. He shouted angrily, You are too much. You killed my servant. What do you think I am? Do you think this broken universe is your territory? You don't agree? Su Yan's eyes shot out cold lightning, and his self-sealed body bloomed with the light of the Great Path. It was like a burning furnace of the Great Path, containing a kind of iron blood and dominance. He said coldly, If you are not convinced, then come out and fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Ma Iliang was infuriated. He was a young overlord and the strongest person in the younger generation of the Ma family. He held a high position and couldn't stand Su Yan's words. His battle prowess surged and erupted in an earth-shattering manner. However, just as he was about to collide with Su Yan's domain, Su Yan woke up. He was facing Su Xianren, who had just almost killed the Sun Dome. This young overlord was extremely fierce. Back then, even the Han family's master was killed by him with one punch. Don't worry, they won't attack. Seeing Ma Iliang cowering, Su Yan shouted coldly. He didn't believe that a small servant dared to speak against him. Ma Iliang must have secretly ordered him to do so. Many people wanted to join forces to deal with Su Yin and the other three. At the same time, Su Yin also wanted to kill some powerful enemies before that, to reduce the pressure for the reincarnation fruit. Su Yan's words made Ma Iliang's face turn green. If he really charged, would Su Yin care that the Ma family wouldn't kill him? The answer was definitely not. Come! Yi Yuan's eyes suddenly shrunk. Currently, Su Yan's prestige had already reached such a level. Even the overlord of the younger generation in the primal chaos ruins would be somewhat restrained in front of him. Wasn't this the unparalleled, ferocious might that was about to be cultivated? Su Yan, what do you mean by that? Sagely Battle God suddenly stood up and strode forward. He coldly shouted, "What are you trying to do? Why don't you go and find Zhu Tian to show off? Ma Iliang provoked you, and you killed his servant for no reason. Now, you're even being so aggressive towards Brother Ma Iliang. Su Yan, I think you're too arrogant. You don't even put your fellow Taoists in your eyes. Do you really think you're invincible?" Tensor was furious. This dog was obviously trying to bully Su Yan. He even mentioned Zhu Tian. It was obvious that he wanted to join forces to force Su Yin out of the fight for the reincarnation fruit. Sagely Battle God. Was the lesson not enough? Su Yin looked at the Sagely Battle God and said coldly, "If you are unhappy, you can come at me. No one is stopping you." Su Yin, you are too arrogant. The Sagely Battle God stared at him angrily and shouted, ignoring the people in the world and provoking us again and again. "I think you're crazy. Come and fight me." Su Yin roared. His black hair danced wildly, and the starry sky shook from his roar. An aura leaked out from his body, faintly forming a tragic scene of a world collapsing. This aura covered the sky and covered the earth, and it rumbled in the field. Many people were shocked. Su Xianren was too confident. They had no choice. After all, they had an almost invincible team. "Bastard, I am not afraid of you." The Sagely Battle God was enraged. His entire body was burning with his blood essence, emitting an indestructible heavenly might. His skin turned into a golden color, containing an unimaginable amount of blood essence. He was like a burning furnace. The Sagely Battle God had to fight. If he didn't, he would lose face. However, when he approached Tai Bao Kai and the other two couldn't hold it in anymore. Murderous aura surged from their bodies. It was so cold that it almost extinguished the burning blood essence in the Sagely Battle God's body. The Sagely Battle God's face turned green. Once he rushed up and the four experts joined forces, he would be in a worse state than the heaven-suppressing Battle God. They couldn't forget how the heaven-suppressing Battle God limped away. "Don't worry, they won't attack. Come and fight me." Su Yin waved at him and comforted him. Bulsh ****. The Sagely Battle God didn't dare to go. He shouted at the people around him, "Can you just watch? I think we should join forces and get rid of them. Don't you want the reincarnation fruits?" Silence reigned in the air. This made some people uncertain. What was going on? Was the Su Xianren team invincible? They were so intimidating that the experts didn't dare to act rashly. They didn't even dare to speak. They were really worried that if Su Yin asked them to come and fight, they wouldn't be able to answer and would lose face. This was a strange atmosphere. Su Yin and the other three were like four demonic mountains. They were pressuring the experts to the point of suffocation. In fact, Su Yin had been stalling for time. He was trying his best to absorb the origin energy of the reincarnation fruits. As long as there was enough time, once Su Yan's body-nurturing technique was perfected, he could try to break through to the heavenly God realm. You can absorb the energy of the reincarnation fruits. Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. The voice was like a clap of thunder, causing the faces of the experts present to be filled with disbelief. "Damn it, you want to join forces against us? I think you guys are crazy." Tai Baokai shouted, "Northern Demon, you spouting nonsense. Come out and fight with us, four brothers. Do you believe that I won't crush you?" The Sagely Battle God and the others' faces turned green. They didn't play by the rules and directly joined forces. Many people stared at the Northern Demon. They knew very well that Su Yin and the Northern Demon had a grudge. In the past, Su Yin had also slaughtered the experts of one of the chaotic divine mountains that the northern demon had occupied, causing a bloody incident that shook the world. The northern demon's aura was somewhat stable. He stood between heaven and earth. His body was tall and sturdy, and his skin was covered in golden scales. Divine radiance flowed around him, accompanied by the aura of the king of all demons. His eyes stared at Su Yin. Similarly, a purple heaven's eye appeared between the northern demon's eyebrows. Su Yan's heart trembled. The northern demon's heaven's eye was his strongest trump card, but as for how strong it was still unknown. Could it be that the northern demon's heaven's eye was so powerful that it could see through the body, nurturing technique's absorption path? If that was the case, then this heaven's eye really had to be treated with caution. Su Yin, you're dead for sure. Let's see how you can escape from this calamity. The northern demon sinisterly laughed. The space between his eyebrows seemed about to split open. A terrifying purple light rose from it, making it difficult to see his true appearance. However, a purple divine light shot out from the center of his eyebrows, forming a Tao diagram. It was Su Yan's body that was swallowing an energy luster, and this energy luster originated from the 6 reincarnation fruits. This scene caused the entire audience to explode. They found it hard to believe. How could Su Yin steal the essence of the reincarnation fruits? Just what sort of secret technique was he using? Even if a supreme being stole the essence of a divine herb, it would be extremely difficult to do so in such a secretive manner. Su Yin had stolen the essence of the reincarnation fruits in front of everyone's eyes. Wang, a strand of bitter killing intent filled the entire area. This was a large halberd that was overflowing with a bloody light that soared into the sky. Zhu Tian's aura erupted. Zhu Tian pointed his halberd at Su Yin. They had to obtain the reincarnation fruits. If Su Yin continued to steal them like this, the effects of the reincarnation fruits would be greatly reduced, and they might never be able to grow. The reincarnation fruits do not belong to you, Zhu Tian shouted, causing the eyes of the young overlords to flash with a trace of ruthlessness. Zhu Tian was qualified to take the lead. As for the sagely battle god and the rest, they weren't qualified. Now that Zhu Tian had stepped forward, what else did they have to fear? After all, they were afraid of Su Xianren. As long as Zhu Tian made a move, he would definitely be able to stop Su Yin. As for the others, they weren't that big of a threat in their eyes. Kid, you really know how to steal. You can even steal the essence of the reincarnation fruits. Tai Baokai was shocked. He stuttered, not knowing what to say. Right now, there were at least dozens of experts rushing over. Among them were more than a dozen young overlords. They wanted to join forces and kill Su Yin. After all, Su Yin had stolen the reincarnation fruits. They couldn't sit still and wanted to join forces to eliminate this group. Damn, I didn't expect the Northern Demon's heaven's eye to be so powerful. Su Yin smiled bitterly. He didn't expect the Northern Demon to be able to see the trajectory of the body nurturing technique. The situation had exceeded Su Yan's expectations. A large group of experts rushed over. Their killing intent was vast and mighty. Many of them wanted to make use of this opportunity to eliminate this invincible group. Let's go. We'll act according to the situation. If we fight with him now, we'll be at a great disadvantage. Yi Yuan said decisively. If they didn't leave, they would be in deep trouble. With just the 4 of them, it was impossible for them to fight against all the experts coming over. No matter how good Su Yin was at fighting, he wouldn't be able to defeat 3 of them. He wouldn't be able to take on 2 or 3 of them at the same time. Unless he was an absolute heavenly deity, he might still have some hope. Who dares to hurt my big brother? Suddenly, a terrifying divine force swept over from a distant world. It shook the heavens and the earth. This was a tall and muscular giant. He rushed over with large strides. An unimaginable divine force surged out from his body. It swept across the void, causing a great collapse. Many people trembled under the pressure. Su Yan's emotions surged. He never thought that Luo De Li would suddenly rush over. Who dares to be so valiant? The whole place was in an uproar. At this moment, Luo de Li's aura was too ferocious. It was as if a barbaric giant god had rushed over. The strength in his body overflowed into the heavens. He had the strength to tear apart a barbaric dragon. This was a peerless general. He brought out a wolf-toothed club that could suppress rivers and mountains, causing the void to collapse. He roared angrily, "Who dares to hurt my big brother?"